Futures back to the downside here in a pretty big way this morning as we get set for March non-farm payrolls. The expected number here coming out in just under a minute, 151,000. That was the prior. 100,000 is the forecast for this March print coming up here. There we go. 100,000 expected. 151 was the prior. We're expecting the unemployment rate somewhere near 4.2%. Given all that has occurred in the past couple of days here, this will be a key reading for the overall market. Number is going to show up here in about 20 seconds or so. Keep in mind, coming up later this morning, Fed Chair Powell is going to be making comments around 10:30 in Virginia. I was actually just reading at a conference today. So 10 seconds. Here we go. March non-farm payrolls print again. Forecast is 100,000. We'll see where this comes out at, not here, at 220K. Huge print to the upside, 220,000. The actual number here, 4.2%, the unemployment rate. So in line with expectations there on the unemployment print. Sorry, 228K to the upside there on that unexpected upside print there. Again, the expectation 100,000. Prior, again, 135 there. 4.2 on the unemployment rate versus 4.2, right in line with expectations. Average hourly earnings in line with expectations. It looks like all of these basically. Participation rate actually with an uptick there, 62.5% versus 62.4%. That's unexpected for the overall market. We did get a little bit of a move there. I was keeping my eye on Bitcoin early on. We did get a little bit of a move there in crypto back to the upside. Quick reversal there for the NASDAQ back downside right now. But this is setting up to be a very interesting day. Welcome in. Welcome to Friday. It's going to be mostly red as you sit down in front of your station this morning. China coming out overnight with retaliatory tariffs to the tune of 34% on all U.S. imports, sending not only anything related to China downside this morning, but also U.S. stocks to the downside as well, right across the board. Apple getting crushed once again. I mean, I'm just looking here. I have XPeng down 10% already, NIO down 7%, Alibaba down better part of the same right now. So not much in the way of green here, but what an unexpected print there for that jobs number.
Oh, indeed. I was not expecting that at all, especially because we kept hearing we're going to be getting lower. Don't expect too much. I thought it would be something in line of what we had in September during the Boeing-related strike there, and now we actually get quite higher than expected. Yeah. So much to keep an eye on today, I think, for sure. It's also worth noting with regards to the China ongoing catalyst, DuPont de Nemours is also on watch here. China market regulator reportedly launching an investigation into the company. So DD could be yet another name to keep an eye out for. I
mean, all of them, yeah, getting crushed. You just saw there. That was Alibaba. Just checking here to see if there's any movement on that, but not much. Alibaba absolutely crushed here in the pre-market. Again, if you're just joining a little bit late, unexpected, huge upside print there for non-farm payrolls. 228,000 versus a forecast of just 100,000 expected there for March, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. There's no chance that gets revised.
Good morning, yeah.
You know,
real good morning here.
Wow. So look, obviously, I know employment's a big deal for sure. That seemed a little mixed to me. Like, yeah,
it was weird.
You're going one way in unemployment, and obviously with Doge and everything, you're certainly going to see, I think, more important prints down the line. So that's my first thought, because that's a little bit mixed. But the retaliatory tariffs, my goodness, you saw the VIX touch 46, 45, half. Okay, not quite 46. But the VIX is starting to come back in and pull back. So your volatility spiked. I mean, the Chinese names are all getting obliterated, which is what happened to us yesterday. But if you want to have a silver lining, it would be that the SPY went all the way there, and when I say all the way there, pretty much to that August support, and is attempting a bounce. So it hit 515, that's a big level on the SPY, and it's attempting a bounce here, up about like 10, only 2% down here. We were 4%, I think, only like 3.9, 4%, and getting a little bit of a battle back. But weird numbers on that unemployment. Like, I was kind of mixed. thrown by that number, but I don't want to read too much into it. You just want to play the direction today. Chinese ADRs, even if the market bounces, I want to fade those. Oops. Well, Bob is the one I shouldn't say those because Bob is the only one I'll trade. So, yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, no, this is, I've been pushing the short a little bit here, but it's not working. Well, I mean, depends where you got in. We just got in now. Yeah, that number was a little weird. I first went long, and then it broke, and then I went short. And we're just playing around with this in the pre-market here. I do think that seems to have been a pretty aggressive move right now, considering all the retaliation and all that stuff that we had talked about there, or that we are just going to be talking about anyways with China and how this is all going down. So let's just see what happens here off the open. I mean, good point on the VIX. You want to look at that to see what that's spiking around. We talked about XLE. Everything over the last little while has been, pretty interesting. Oil down another 3% there today. So.
Oh, yuck, oil.
Yeah, it's not great. You know what I didn't look at, though? I didn't look at gold yet today. So let's have a quick look over there. 285. Okay, so basically flat there for gold. But yeah, the TQ is starting to go up here as the Nasdaq's trying to bounce out. I mean, nice. I even saw some people last week saying NVIDIA 98. So that was a really good call by whoever that was. Looks like the bottom there was 96, 97, but there it goes up to 99 right now for NVDA. I'm trying to stay short here, but also trying to be flexible with the trade. We just took a little bit out there, but at the end of the day, this is short right now. We've been short on the way up, so we've lost a little bit here on that. But let's see if it does pull back. Okay, now we're flat on the day on the futures. Hopefully this will fall. Okay, hopefully this will fall back in and we'll be able to make a little bit here. But yeah, a little scary. The good thing about it though is if you're a crypto head today, then you get a nice little move because crypto has been pretty flat here right now. So we'll wait to see 83,000. I mean, you would have thought that this was going to be a little bit lower than where we were right now. So crypto nicely holding as well. And yeah, man, another 2.5%. It was a lot worse, as Neil had mentioned. We are down 3 and change on the NASDAQ. Now you're only down 2.6 and 2.5 respectively, ES and NAS. So yeah, that was an interesting jobs number, man. I mean, more than expected, 200,000 jobs. So 228 versus 137.
But you know what?
So is it seasonal? Is that what they're going to say?
Yeah, but hourly earnings, month over month flat, year over year down, and then you had the unemployment rate up. So like I said, it's mixed, but it seems like not that great if you just throw out that blowout number. So I don't know about that. The only thing I was looking for long today was IBIT because of that. As he mentioned, that relative strength in Bitcoin. Yeah. There's no question about it. Like the way that it held 81, 82 has been spectacular. So if it gets down there, I want to look for some longs. Not a big enough spike in BABA. I'm sitting on the offer trying to get that one.
Oh, boy.
Wow, this market.
Here we go.
I don't know. To me, I'm reading more outside of that payroll that it wasn't a good move.
Here we go. All right, guys, now 70 handles in the money. Finally, okay, so took a minute to do this, but there it goes. It's finally dropping back in, right into VWAP again. So we are going to start to cover some more shares here. We only now have about 40% left of what we had, but it's back into VWAP right now. So in the thought of, and again, like I changed my stop up to 47 there, I think. It was 46.75 or so, and just trying to give it a little bit of room on that spike there. So we actually take advantage of the first spike there in the futures, and there was my first long. There's the out. Then we averaged it in, and now we're averaging it out. I don't know how low this thing will go or how high it will rip, but yeah, so many awesome plays that are going to come through. I mean, the thing about this too is that you are now, if we call up the NASDAQ here, we could call up ES, but I'll just use the Q, or sorry, I'll just use the Qs instead of the NQ contract. Right now for the Qs, what are we trading at? We're trading at 437, so we're all the way down here. We're below right now September. We're trying to get into that August low, I guess, of 420. So that would be an interesting level there. I think some stocks on sale today. Amazon down to 160. Oh boy, Neil, we are now 100 handles in right now, and it sucks to say this, but wow, this is really falling out. All right, well, I haven't hit the day goal in the pre-market in a long time, but sad to say we hit it. I mean, I'd rather hit it long, but and I made the mistake of opening up the RSP.
You never want to look at it on a day like today.
I'm not feeling well.
Unless you own a bunch of volatility, which, by the way, UVXY is on watch today. I haven't traded this since 2020, which would probably tell you what things look like right now. But this is doing a trend revert as we speak from the highs. Now, UVXY is not the VIX. It's just we can trade UVXY. Chart same, price is different. Just think of it that way. So it's just closed above the trend line. I'm going to give it back into the trend line here. And it's liquid. I would say if you're at real trading, locates aren't free on this today. So you actually have to pay for locates. Obi and I were discussing this. But usually they are. I'm going to take shots at this name. We've played support and resistance on this in the past and trend reversals and all that kind of stuff. So when I see that, I'm taking my shot. Prior bar low is going to be the out. I still want Baba short. I don't care what the market does. I feel like Alibaba, that was going to be one we wanted for sure. I'm sitting waiting for 120. I might back off that offer and sort of play it by ear because it's respecting VWAP right now. So as long as we're respecting VWAP, might want to give that one a shot. There's plenty of volume and liquidity here in this market, even though it's pre-market.
All right, let's go back over to the desk.
Canadian employment change there at 8:30. Not so good on this side of the border. Negative 32.6 thousand jobs. So we actually lost 32,500 jobs. The expectation was for a gain of 10,000. So definitely worse situation on this side of the border. April interest rate cut from the Bank of Canada, all but locked in. I was just hearing as well, June now back on the table for the Fed. We sat here yesterday talking about the simple fact that because of what happened with the tariffs, the futures market was pricing in maybe not even any rate cuts for the remainder of the year. It looks like June could be back on the table. Remember, 10:30 this morning, we're going to hear from Fed Chair Powell speaking at a conference in Virginia. So that will, I'm sure it will be live streamed. So we'll bring you anything that, Daryl will bring you anything that matters coming out of that. Yeah, 3% right now for the NASDAQ. I mean, we're knocking on the door of bear territory. 20% off the highs coming into today. It was about 19.25 when I sat down this morning. So we'll keep an eye on that number as well. Yeah, I mean, there's tons to consider here.
I think the other thing I want to mention, I've been watching this CME FedWatch tool pretty heavily. So as of the official tariff announcement that we got Wednesday night, I pulled this up in the market recap, it was less than 10% of participants pricing in a 25 basis point cut. Now we have 43.3% of participants expecting a 25 basis point cut for May. So even the May, I mean, still obviously below the expectations of a hold, but if you look at the CME FedWatch tool here, I think this tool certainly shows that we are seeing a pretty intense uptick in the amount of people expecting a cut even earlier than that June cut.
And that might have more to do with the simple fact that, you know, everyone, I mean, JP Morgan put out a note this morning saying 60% chance for a recession at this point. So, you know, just easing the tension a little bit on the overall economy. But it's Friday. Let's bring in Michael Noss here and see if we can't find some relative strength. It feels like it's been a while since we've talked about, you know, anything strong over the past couple of days anyways. But Michael Noss has been doing some searching here and digging. And I mean, did you come up with anything, Mr. Noss? Because this isn't going to help this morning.
493 symbols.
Okay.
So we'll go through all of them one by one. You ready?
Here we go. Let's go.
No. But yeah, so the first thing we got to talk about is classifying relative strength. Obviously, there's not too much that's sitting near all-time highs right now. But, you know, I'm here all the time and I say I love sell-offs. I love sell-offs like this because hopefully, you know, you have some cash on hand. You're not holding things on the way down. And these are the times to work. These are the times to make those lists. Doesn't mean you have to buy them today. Doesn't mean you pull the trigger right now. But I was able to go through and build a little scan. I have it on my Twitter. So it's just in a Google Doc if you want to go find that. It's just Michael Noss CMT. All the symbols are there. But I've highlighted a couple that I want. So the first chart is just the chart of the market. I'm sure everybody has this chart of the market burned in the head. I did this last night, so it's obviously not including this morning's gap down. But what I'm doing is that line right there that we held. And the reason for that is it's kind of the March 11th type lows. So we had the initial thrust down in the market, and then we bounced there. And while we were bouncing, you know, I was on here talking about that anchored VWAP from all-time highs. That seems to have stopped us dead in our tracks, and down we go again. So what I'm doing is how I'm defining relative strength this time is going back to that March 11th bar and saying anything that is above that bar, anything that's above that March 11th bar, I'm going to consider relatively strong, and I'm going to keep an eye on it because it means that, yes, it may have got hit in that initial thrust down, but it's not doing this second leg down, at least not yet, right? So we make the list, and at any point, these things do end up breaking down and joining the market lower. They get removed from the list, and then we just wait for this craziness to calm down, right? I always try to be the voice of calm when I'm on here, just because the idea is that, yes, things are no fun right now. We've seen this before. The same thing happened in 2019. We were down 22% or so there. So I don't know, could happen again, but who knows, right? But the important thing is we keep our heads on, right? We look for opportunities, and when the market settles down, then we'll be more at an advantage position than people who are just running around trying to chase the stuff or trying to pick bottoms on names that aren't doing that well. So first name, just going to kind of hammer through them, is CAR, right? So they'll all kind of have this look. So this is Avis Budget Group. We're just looking for things that aren't crashing with the market. So yes, that initial kind of pull down, you can see that kind of March 11th, mid-March low. Ever since then, we've bounced and we've held above it. So that's going to go on the list for some relative strength to keep an eye on. Next one here is STNE, Stone Co. Again, not too much of an idea what these ones do, but the yellow line here is the 200-day moving average. So not only are we up from 2025, we're up pretty good in 2025. We are above the 200-day moving average, and like the rest, we are above those lows. So I like this one, again, around 1150 or so. If we can get through there, that looks like a good price. We can use the 200-day moving average as a stop loss on that one. Next one here, we have AZEK, the AZEK company, above the 200-day moving average, above a rising 200-day moving average. And again, you can see a lot of these things got hit with that initial sell-off down to that March 11th low. This one, again, bouncing and holding above. Two more here. One is CPRX, is a pharmaceutical company, so be a little bit more worried about these guys. Again, they're going to move kind of completely on their own based off whatever they have in the pipeline for products or FDA approval or whatever. But this is a really strong chart. Actually broke out of a pretty much all-time high. You can see again the rising 200-day moving average. It's well above, and we're pulling back a little bit, but again, that March low, we're way above that one. Last but not least, kind of for the jokes and kind of not for the jokes, we have Fartcoin. So closed green yesterday, well above its March lows. Not an awful looking chart. You could say maybe a rounded bottom, so feel free to make your jokes there. Some of these other cryptocurrencies, the reason I point this out, we had Peanut the Squirrel up yesterday. We had a lot of these different meme coins going on. So maybe there's some divorcing from the market happening there. But my major point is, again, there's 400 or so stocks in this list that if you're trying to pick the bottom on some of these names that are having a bad time, good luck and good luck to you. What I want to keep doing is I just want to say, okay, what is not participating in the sell-off? There's a whole bunch of Goldman Sachs interns that they probably haven't let out of their office in the last 4 weeks. And they've said, you have to go through every company's financial statement and find which ones are going to be immune to tariffs and buy those. And that may be what we're seeing in this list. So anything that's not participating in the sell-off, I'm very interested to see. I'm very interested to buy some. Anything that is participating in this sell-off, then it's time to go. It's time to get rid of it and then move on to whatever the next round of winners will be. Again, when this market calms down, which at some point it will.
Worth clarifying on that, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because we're not saying let's go out and just buy all of these today just because they're above a certain level or above a moving average. We're saying when the market does show some signs that it's not going down anymore, right, this group of stocks holding up a little bit better.
Yeah, and could they just continue to participate as the market sells off? Absolutely, but for some reason, and in the most recent past, they've shown resilience to this tariff news. So, yeah, I'm waiting for a chill out. Give me a week or so of where the market just stops going down for a period of time. That's very interesting to me, and then I'll potentially start buying. But yeah, now is the time to make the list. It's the time to do the work. When the markets are going up every day, there's not a lot of work to do because hopefully you own a whole basket of really strong stocks already, and you should just kind of keep your hands off. Now is the time to sit down and say, I'm going to make my shopping list and I'm going to wait for certain criteria for each one to get involved. Then when the market turns, you're ready to go and you don't have to find the things and scramble whenever we do have a bounce.
Yeah, massively important, I think, to make that point. And patience going to be key here. Michael Noss, thanks so much. Great insight as always. Have a great weekend. We'll touch base again on Monday.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Michael. Patience is 100% going to be a virtue. Now, I know we said that Bitcoin, IBIT did really, really well in this gap down overnight. I would, look, crypto, the risk assets. You know what I mean? So when you're looking at alternate tokens, like don't assume just because Bitcoin is holding the bid overnight that across the group you're going to be. Those are going to be really, really volatile. And the more volatile things are here, and when I say here, you know what I mean? I mean in like the equity, North American equity market. The more volatile we are here, the more volatility you are going to see in those tokens. So I think they're incredibly risky. That said, I do like Bitcoin today. There's no question about that. Like you can't, it's undeniable when yesterday's low holds last week's low. Well, technically it's Monday's low, holds the week's low, and then we gap down in the market and take another leg down, and all of a sudden we're catching a bit off that same support level. So it's 81,000. As long as we're above 81,000, I'm looking longs on Bitcoin. And it's one of the only support levels out there that actually held up. Oil blew through nastily, actually, that 65 level. That was not, like it blew through that without even looking back, without stopping, like nothing. Walmart lost its bid. Walmart was like one of the strong stocks yesterday. It's lost its bid. It's barely hanging on to its, I don't want to say, it's not like a 52-week low or anything, but you're talking about the 200-period moving average. Like this is hanging on by a thread down there. My first thought was maybe this is a potential long off of support, but I kind of want to play it in the other direction. I like the IBIT support level better. I'm actually more thinking, so you can see it, if we flat bottom breakthrough here at 83.5 on Walmart, play it in the other way. As good as it was yesterday, you have to remember how hard it did eventually sell off. So yeah, IBIT, that's one thing. Altcoins, another. I'm not touching them, not in this market.
Yeah, I know, violent market for sure, especially in these NASDAQ names today. Thanks, Michael, for pointing out, some other Stone Co. and, other names that even he didn't have any idea what Stone Co. did. But at the end of the day here, we are getting some more out of these futures trade here on VWAP. We only have about 20% left, looking to see about this 47 area. If we break above there, then we're out. But, made a little bit of money there on the futures. Still working out. I mean, it's 20 handles in. We just got some more out there at 13. I'm going to average in up here. But, heading into the open now, we still have 40 minutes. So I'm not sure where this market's going to go. I don't want to layer into this too much. We'll wait to get something near 47. But yeah, been short, made money already today on this, but could give it all back if we run up. Well, we'll be flat on it, I guess, if it runs back up. But we'll give this a shot to 47, and then that's it. I put out the sticky note. It just has some long ideas. And I wrote down it's very hard to pick any short levels today. We're just so far down that, it's almost like you want to buy the dip at some point, just because of where we are. But we're going to play the market for what the market's worth. And, I mean, we'll just wait to see how this opens up. Could get a huge flush off the open, then a rebound. We saw yesterday, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago, when it was all sell-side imbalances and then the market ripped. Well, look what's happening today again. These are all sell-side imbalances here, Fabian. Baba, IonQ, AT&T, Bank of, there's not a bid to be found right now. So that can tend to lead to a little bit of a move down right there off the open, and then whoosh, all the way back up as, the sell pressure does dissipate. But I don't know, man. China slapping U.S. again there today for the first time, I guess, on a retaliation. So, yeah, it's not going to be good, man. Yeah, I like Palantir long. That was my #1 idea. So we'll talk about that as we go through the watch list. But yeah, there we go, man. Good trade early on the futures. Let's see what winds up happening. It's interesting that we get jobs today, of course, when this is what's happening. Maybe this is finally an opportunity to buy. I like what Michael said. Give it a little bit of time here to see what is going on. But you know, even if you bought yesterday, you come in today, you're down 2%. That is fine. It's like that's not the end of the world. The Nasdaq could easily bounce from here. The Nasdaq could go green today. You know, so I don't know. Patience is going to be key for today.
What's interesting is, you know what? I'm on an Apple chart, but and we're going to get to some upgrades and downgrades in a second. If you look at what happened on August, where we bounced and then held when there was that disaster morning that everyone was freaking out, the next day it was a red day and then it was a sea of green. So it's like you reverted what happened on the panic day and then just went back to what happened to the initial reaction. If we were to do the same thing today, instead of, because we closed the lows yesterday, that would be a relief rally today and then a continuation if history is repeating itself in the other direction. And I remember if you go back to like 08 and you go back to COVID, you would get like these crazy pop and fades, like these fake out like bounces, which were great. They were great long opportunities, especially in 08, but they didn't last more. Sometimes they lasted the morning, sometimes they lasted a day, sometimes they lasted a day or two. So if that's the environment that we're going to be in, and who knows, heck, tariffs could come off on Monday for all I know. As long as we're in this environment, you have to respect that. But yeah, we're going to get some analyst upgrades here, and kudos to anyone that slapped some upgrades on some stocks in this environment. Good luck to you.
All these upgrades are actually trading down on the day, some of them even more so than the names on the downgrade side of things. Booking Holdings here down about 5% with a $5,500 price target from BTIG Research and, of course, an upgrade as well. Then we have Coherent here with an upgrade from Rosenblatt. Logitech getting upgraded by BofA Securities and a Canadian name to end the upgrade side of things. This is RBC getting upgraded by fellow bank CIBC. Downgrades here kicking off with Biogen, only down about 1.3% today with the downgrade from Argus. Wayfair getting downgraded by Citigroup. This name got hit pretty hard yesterday, poised to gap down by about 10% today. Vistra initiated here with a neutral rating from Goldman Sachs and a $134 price target. And last but not least, ServiceNow getting its price target cut to $990 by BMO Capital Markets, currently trading around $750, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, Wayfair got a cut. I mean, is anyone surprised that Wayfair is going to get the downgrade? I mean, after what you saw with RH, and not to single them out, but they were down 40%. Like, I know, like, all the retailers got destroyed. Like, it's not like anybody was spared, but, man, RH stood out like a sore thumb down that 40 points. The CEO was he cursed on the conference call.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I'm sure that's got to be emotional. The stock's been under pressure. But Wayfair was another one of those flat bottom breaks. I think you got to pick your spot in terms of retail. Like, which one do you like the best? I know, like, yesterday, Kohl's, outside of Nike, obviously, Kohl's was the one that looked really, really good for continuation. I want to look back on, if you like it, to me, things like fade into prior high, fade into prior low, because we're down, and then fade into prior closes would be the way that I approach it. Nike, another one of those retail names. It's pretty clean, the double bottom here at 55. So if it comes back up, it's like you know where the support was to turn into resistance. So I think that's, you know, Wayfair, yeah, it's got a downgrade, but you're probably going to see a bunch of downgrades in the retail space the next few days. And if you get too wrapped up on thinking that's going to be the one, you probably do yourself a disservice a little bit. Oh, one more note. Remember, Apple's going to be SSR today because it was down 10%. That's worth throwing out there. That is another one. It's not anywhere near 190, the even dollar for an SSR bounce, but that's one thing I got to keep in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I wanted to just, as far as retail is concerned, I wanted just to look at Amazon because this name is down to 166 it was. They're actually even lower, 164 at its peak destruction down there. Wow. I mean, now we're starting to finally make some moves off this bottom. But yeah, Amazon on the daily, wow. Wow is about all, like, that is, for a name that we all loved, Wow, this name right there coming into that level. So you may have something right around there, 162.80, 163 and change. So that's looking pretty decent there for AMZN as a possible bottom as well. But, you know, like I was saying, very, very hard to write notes out today about levels where we could go because the market is just so far away from any sort of support levels that we've had. So we'll just have to wait for something, man. I mean, I'm short the NASDAQ right now. We're going to be fine. It'll be a good trading day. We had a great day yesterday, and it should be a great day again today. Just be patient with the long term. We haven't been. I've been buying the dips, so we'll wait to see what happens here on the market as we get ready for what should be a great weekend around here. And I hope everyone's having a good day. But yeah, if you came into today short, then you're definitely having a better day than many. So there it is, man. Amazon 168. Okay, here we go, man. Here goes the Qs. Right back in again. So nice move on the NASDAQ, fading it right back into the 50-period moving average. We should put some more bids here in the teens just to get something out again. But yeah, wild, wild thoughts today in this market. Let's wait to see what winds up happening. Would not be a surprise if we start to rip City off of some of these lows as people will try to pick the bottom. Is the bottom in? I don't think so, but I could see today being somewhat of a rally early and then smart money may come in and fade. So I'm just going to wait to see if and when that winds up happening. But right now it's 9 o'clock. If you want to get some ideas underneath your belt, obviously we posted up all on socials, but there's the watch list. Make sure you do scan that QR code, grab the watch list. It has tons of ideas on it every single day, and it's completely free. So definitely something that we want all of you to take part in is our daily free watch list. Go sign up for it ASAP.
To understand on that this morning, just be aware, Donald Trump making some comments on Truth Social currently talking about the jobs number, initially saying much better than expected, and that his policies, quote unquote, his policies will never change. So take that for what it's worth. Sean was mentioning there, if you haven't done so, jump down to the description of this video. Top link will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. As everything on it in the pre-market you need to know that's moving around and why. China, we'll start with top of the list here this morning. Pick one. They're all going to look something similar to this. That's Alibaba. I think the EV names are a little bit worse off, maybe. No bounce here anyways for these right now. 10% at the lows there for XPeng. China comes out overnight. I mean, this was expected, I guess, at some point, but comes out with 34% retaliatory tariffs here.
Yeah, I mean, it's even then, given the fact that initially we had, I guess, the total of 54% retaliatory tariff rates against China from the U.S., which is confirmed by the White House. It actually doesn't even seem too crazy, but yet we did have a lot of destruction there in China. Alibaba held up relatively well yesterday, as you can see here on this chart. Closed not at day's highs, but near day's highs. Today, though, completely different story. Back below that 120 level after closing near 130 yesterday. DD is another name to keep an eye out in China. DuPont de Nemours. Reuters reported that the Chinese market regulator is investigating them, and they're basically at day's low right now.
Yeah, man. I just saw NIO is at $3.50. So I zoomed out here a little bit. I mean, it's not all-time lows, but I mean, it's not far. I guess you got to go all the way back to $1, $1.50 kind of thing. But man, what a move. This is 65, 66 at the highs, going back to the pandemic days. 350 here this morning for NIO.
Yeah, yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. 52-week low for NIO. The good news for Alibaba, look, I'm not going to trade NIO. Looking at it, it's very tempting. It is tempting, actually pulling up the chart on NIO and simply saying, well, if I like the Chinese names to the south side, why would I not be shorting that back into the prior high? Well, mostly because I was looking at Alibaba. That's the only, that's the only reason. So Baba, I like 120. That's the first level, 120 and 123 on Baba. But as I do look at NIO, if Baba doesn't set up and NIO comes right into that prior floor, I would take a shot. I think I could take a shot there as well. So yeah, I'm going to put NIO on like the side burner, but Baba would be the primary focus.
Yikes. China crushed. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we looked at, I mean, good call there with Alibaba, obviously, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's an ETF's world, I think, today, because you're just going to want to mix everything together and maybe look. Oh man, like we just had Steve Thielman on yesterday talking about sort of, you know, some of the strength maybe potentially in China, you know, playing the other way around, but today down 5% rate here. I don't know. Like I don't know. We talked about VGK, the Vanguard European ETF as well, but yeah, this name making moves lower. But I pardon this wick, unfortunately. I wonder if the bottom might be in. I mean, that payroll number, although not, I mean, I feel like it was a little off, but the non-farms there, jobs number. But at the end of the day, the NASDAQ is having a good morning. You know, it's weird to say that because of this, but it's starting to like absorb these lows. So I don't know, maybe we did get a little bit of a blowout bottom there early, and BABA's looking very similar to that. So, you know, you could have that move up if you want to do a little bit less risk, obviously, and trade pennies instead of maybe dollars. I mean, NEO could be something as well as we look at that chart. Completely broke down, right? I mean, we're well below everything, but these are bouncing areas. Like you just take that this could be an extension all the way to the downside, but you do have right there 365 has been the past low in NIO, 360 to 365, right there. You know, so if we can take that back on the upside, then use your 350 maybe as your bottom, you know, you could get something there in NIO. So I don't know. All right, so that would be China. I mean, we'd like to look there. I would just say look at the strength in Bitcoin right now. I mean, we'll probably get to crypto last. So we did get a short there, right here. Got out at 50 a little bit on the way down in. Looks like the market wants to rally here into the open. So we will punch out of this on a 47 break. So just want to give that to everybody's attention. We are short right now at 70s, and looks like it's getting closer and closer to being flat right now. We wanted to try it. We got it right there off the number, and yeah, it's just been ticking higher. So take advantage of that drop. Very lucky to get it, obviously, and now we'll wait to see what happens at 47. It looks like we're going to go long on that. I'm not going to punch long, but the market seems to be, you know, making this nice move here off of some of the bottoms. Apple now 196. So we're going to go over the tech bear market soon, and it's here, man. Brendan just mentioned there, NASDAQ down close to that 20%, trying to battle off that.
The door might be, I mean, we're pulling away from it right now, but still, it's, if you zoom out, here's a weekly chart. Gives you a little bit of better perspective here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a doji in there. 5, 6. So 6 of 7, essentially. Weeks straight to the downside here for the NASDAQ. As Sean was saying, they're knocking on the door with 20%.
Yesterday was actually the NASDAQ's worst day since March 2020. So in half a decade. It's also worth noting here, lots of these tech stocks getting some negative analyst notes. NVIDIA got a downgrade about midday yesterday to a hold. And Apple had a really interesting note coming out here from Needham. They maintained their $260 price target and buy rating, but they did say that they think fiscal 2025 could be impacted by about 28% for Apple. Also adding that if they don't get a tariff exemption, things could get pretty dicey for the company. You can read more about that note on our watch list as well.
Kind of a interesting look here. This is just Thursday for, as we were saying, the Mag 7 here. So 7.8 for NVIDIA. My screen, guys, thanks. 7.8 for NVIDIA. There's 9.25 for Apple, 2.36. I mean, it goes on and on and on. The destruction continues. Change in, if you're wondering, the change in the CEO's wealth on here as well, but we don't need to get into that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like, get it. Billionaires' paper value goes down when this happens, but everyone's just here to look at the individual stocks and what they're doing. So, like, I'm going to get to Apple in a second because obviously that one went SSR, and I think that's a big deal, being that short sale restricted. But if you go to NVIDIA, the August low on NVIDIA has held, at least for now. So it was all the way down at like $90. The higher low support was at 96. So I think that's where we're looking today on NVIDIA. Today on NVIDIA. But the other side of the coin is I don't think that one day of rally means much here. So, and I'm not, or even like in 08 or 2020, like a half a day of rally I don't even think means as much. So I don't mind if you trend in one direction or another, but I come back to looking to fade prior highs. Now in the tech specifically when it comes to the semi names, I'm actually looking more at AMD and Intel to a certain extent. So like AMD up at like 93. But I think NVIDIA is going to be if we test down that 96 again, I'd look reversion. If we see 91, I'm for sure looking longs. Apple's a different story because it's SSR. I'm looking for even dollar bottoming tail candles and reversal candles to the long side. That's yesterday's trend line. You don't need it. So that's my look on Apple specifically because it's 10% down. Not going to have that level 2. I'm always going to leave that level 2 up because if I see it flush into 92, ideally 90 or 91, and do a little bit of a bottoming tail candle or a trend reverse because it's SSR and that's unique for a stock like Apple, I want to be able to take that kind of a shot. It was CrowdStrike. I remember the day that like CrowdStrike was an SSR, and it was a ridiculous bounce when it finally caught that reversion. So Apple, I'll be looking for that specific trade. I'm probably favoring an AMD short over NVIDIA, but you know, if they get to this, if one goes there to the top and the other doesn't, then sometimes I'm prone to change my mind. But I'm looking prior lows on AMD for fade first.
We've been obsessed with trading the futures myself lately, so we're probably just going to stick there. We just took some more profit here. We're short at 72. We just took some 55s there as well. We got a 60 and then a 55. And look, man, I mean, it could break. That is for sure upside, and we have our stop there. So it is looking like it wants to bounce off some of the lows. So I was just looking right here. So the TQs, I got to figure this out. I don't know why it's not showing me where the day is right here on the NASDAQ. But just for right now, actually here, let me just use our charts then, because they should be fine for the NASDAQ. So, all right, you're below right now that August level where we had the yen carry trade, right? And like that was, like I remember saying, oh man, like I wish I would have been able to buy some stuff there. But at the end of the day, that wish became a nightmare if you didn't cover, because now you're like, oh man, why didn't I cover? But you know what? That was a flush and then a huge move back up. So you see, like we're kind of getting that flush wick down again there into $44. We had a flush wick to the top, or a wick to the top side, which was not a flush. It was just more of a rip there, and then a fade off that last 2 days. You know, we had that day where, I mean, Joe was just telling me today, like luckily he got out of the Amazon there at 195. Like that was that day right there where everything popped up, and we even saw Meta get back to, Meta's at 500 right now. Meta was at 600 2 days ago. So that was that flush down. But anyways, I just wonder that maybe, again, is 44 going to be the bottom on the TQs? We're at 46.40. We could easily retest that low. And if you do that, man, I mean, going all the way back to November of 24, I don't know. I saw what Jay Lee wrote then, that the TQs was $12 in 2020. I mean, we're not playing for that right now. We're trying to find, you know, maybe where we could stop. And I don't, you know, I'm going to use that level right there of $44 as maybe being one of the bottoms. The only other name that we have on, I mean, the number one idea for me is Palantir today, as it's not, hopefully it gets going and gets to the upside and we don't have to worry about it. But that 77 bottom that was already made earlier at 730, the fact that we could flush, and we've seen Palantir flush. We don't have Palantir on there, no, okay, good. So, you know, we've seen these moves happen before in Palantir. That's the tariff news. There's the move straight off the open yesterday, 930. It was $81. It ripped to 85, so that's $4, no problem. Same thing the day before. We went from 82 to 86, so that's another big move, $4 or $5. The day before that, again, move up, then huge move down. So I was sort of thinking the same thing there for Palantir. We've had that huge move up. If we do fade back into this $77, $78 mark, that's good. We did hear about increased defense spending for the U.S. So if that's the case, then we know that Palantir, not that they're going to get that money, but at the end of the day, you know, that they're in the right space for that kind of a play.
Eventually they get it.
Okay, here we go, man. Now we're back into the $30 handle range here now for the futures and the TQQs. I'm not bidding anything till 25. I mean, let's see if we can make this one work. The 50-period moving average, well, it was at 20. Okay, it's still 25. So hopefully we can fade back in and get a little bit of a print there, and then that'll be a good one. I mean, now 30 handles in. Let's see what winds up happening. We've been talking the short all morning. We're playing it off of 47. Our quotes are now frozen. Oh, now they're back. All right, let's go to the downside TQs, and let's go back over and figure out what's going on with these banks.
Bad.
Once again here for most of them, JP Morgan actually trying to bounce back above 218, not 2018. $218 right now. JP Morgan with a note this morning specifically raising their expectations of a recession to 60% now. So 2, 3, 4 days in a row here for all of these. And
as you and I were talking about off camera here, we actually have bank earnings coming up literally 1 week from today, Friday. April 11th. We're going to be getting BlackRock, which is still kind of in that finance space. We're going to be getting JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. So definitely this space is one to watch. Also, what I've noticed here is some of these fintech names like Affirm and SoFi getting hit pretty hard as well. Here is Affirm, about 500,000 shares traded pre-market, down 7.5%. SoFi here, 4 million shares traded pre-market, down 7%. So certainly keep an eye on these names in that general finance space as well as outright banks. Yeah, a few trying to bounce, but as you mentioned, oh, by the way, earnings could add to the party coming up next week, guys.
Yeah, that thing that matters so much to companies and matters the most to companies, earnings. We did miss the super chat. Apologies to Ruchi here. And Ross, I believe Joe got to yours. Thank you to Ross for the super chat and Ruchi as well. Quick advice. Asking if it's a good time to average down on fundamentally strong stocks like your Broadcom, Meta, or wait for bottoms even longer. I'm going to go over, here's a stock, I'm going to talk about XLF, which I like, and I hope that it'll answer your question. And shout out to Arsis, member for 29 months, 2 and almost a half years. Appreciate you for sure. Thank you so much for that. Everybody just hit the like, hit the subscribe, enjoy the show for sure, and hope to learn something. Look, I like XLF. I like the financials. Fundamentally, I've got earnings coming through. Well, they have earnings coming through, all of the banks. You just lost the 200-period moving average with this gap down today. That's exactly the moment that I'm never interested in buying, right? Like it's that first leg. If you want to show me that you've bounced off a support level or like usually in here or like that's the kind of, oh, we're resuming the trend, everything's still fundamentally good, that's the moments where I usually like buying it. But as you've just lost the 200-period moving average and things have started to shift and we still have to get through earnings and there's this uncertainty, it's more of a wait-and-see mode. As far as it goes today, you're a little too far from the gap to have any levels to work off of, so I like continuation shorts in this situation. It would have to set up like intraday. Like right now it's trending up above VWAP and there's no levels to work off of. So I can't really look at it too deeply. I think at least when I'm talking about like AMD or Alibaba, like there's something that I still can sink myself into. But as a general rule for myself, like I don't like that moment where you're losing such a major moving average and the trend is being broken. Like you held a 50 underneath and you break the 200 underneath. That's signaling that you're starting confirmation of a downtrend. That's not the time that I like to buy.
All right, covering more here on the TQs now. 50 handles in the money. We do get that position. So there it goes. Yeah, bank stock. So, you know, I bought JP Morgan. Obviously, it's come back in now for us. But yeah, I don't want to buy anything anymore. Like I just rather just go on vacation and figure this all out and just wait till we get back. But you do have that. I'm just trying to look at today. Where do we buy on this dip? I mean, Neil, we're 70 handles in the money now on the futures as we continue to move down. And I was just thinking this 211, 210 spot right there could be something. Look, I mean, you've missed the move up. There's the recovery. We actually had that all the way back, didn't get it out. Now it's falling back into these levels again. We talked about it being April 11th is going to be the start of earnings. Earnings, although I know Neil said very important to stocks, not really anymore, man. You know, what we're going to be looking for is their forward guide and just looking to see what goes on with JP Morgan and the rest of the banks. I don't, you know, this is not a great time for them with all this uncertainty in the world and, you know, economic crisis happening pretty much every country. I don't know. I mean, I think we're isolated to thinking a little bit worse here in the US because if you do look at some of the other major markets in the world, some of them are actually up. We talked about this with Steve yesterday with EWZ in Brazil and things like that, in Japan, and then in Europe. But yeah, this is not great for the bank names at all. I would have thought Goldman and Morgan were good with some of these IPOs, so that could be something. There's also KRE, right? So we do have, this is the regional banking ETF. So we always talk about XLF, but if you did want to get just if you're in XLF and you want to look somewhere else and get some more of the regional banks where you don't have as much multinational exposure, then potentially, you know, we just looked at JP Morgan. There was really no levels there, but KRE is actually running into something now where you have 46, 45s. Like there's some levels here that are starting to open up a little bit. So this could be a buy zone there for KRE. So just another ETF. Like I said, single stock risk, yes, especially heading into earnings. But if the whole sector as a group survives, then you'll probably get a bounce. And that's why I think that it's smart what Neil was saying there about XLF. So we'll try to stay in the pocket with some ETFs. But I like JP Morgan. If anything, buy the best names on the way down. That's what to do. But averaging it has not been a profitable move so far. I haven't done it on JP Morgan, but we are in once at 230. So we're going to have to let that go. But yeah, KRE.
It'll be fine.
KRE coming into some levels.
Long
long term.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm like, the dollar cost averaging is great. It's just, you know, you go through these moments, and that's fine. SMR.
Well, actually, I had this conversation with it's a friend who was. You know, I get a lot of messages after days like yesterday. It just sort of happens, right? So a friend who's in my generation-ish, but he's a little older, maybe almost a lot older. So he was. I just simply said, hey, like, just the smart thing is, well, how far are you away from retirement? Like, what's your time horizon? He's like, oh, I'm not retiring for well over.
This portion of the show brought to you by our friends at Foremost Clean Energy. Unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy, leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet, nuclear energy. Partnered with Denison Mines with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear. Foremost is your entry on the NASDAQ FMST here in Toronto, CSE FAT. Go to foremostcleanenergy.com. Let's go to some of the retailers. Macy's. We looked at this yesterday. Went out to a weekly chart early on this morning. We're all the way back here to 2023. This is October of 2023, that last low we put in. All of these looking pretty much the same here this morning. DK has breaking levels to the downside. I mean, pick one, it's pretty ugly.
Well, I was actually going to say here, too, I think I'm having a bit of an issue with the trade ideas, but there are some other options. I was reading this article here, Barron. So if you're looking at some of these other retailers that are like, I guess, the lower priced retailers like TJX and Ross stores, those fared a little bit better because they're going to be getting their things off season. They're not relying on imports, right? Or these grocers like Kroger's and Albertson, they all did pretty well yesterday as well. Again, because a lot of these grocers are not necessarily going to be getting their products out of Asia. So if you're looking for any retailers that don't rely on imports, you actually might find some opportunities. And then you have names like RH, which were down 40% yesterday. So lots of weakness, but there are some areas to find strength if you do a little bit of research.
Yeah, Best Buy was another one we were talking about, BBY. Ugly weekly candle here. I think we're actually through that low now if you go all the way back to that same October low for Best Buy.
All right, yeah, what were you saying?
No, I'll just quickly finish the thought. He's a little closer to retirement to me. I was like, as long as you are you're doing that rotation towards something dividend related or fixed income related, like you shouldn't be all in on riskier assets. And like, you know, that was basically the gist of the conversation. I'm like, you shouldn't necessarily always be freaking out. But if you're really imminently close,
right,
that's a much different story. But that's the kind of thing you should already be doing. As far as the retailers go, Nike, I'm going to add something to Nike just because I saw this in the last 20 minutes. So Nike, I think we already went over, we probably did. I think I mentioned this earlier. Apologies, sometimes we repeat ourselves. 55 double bottom yesterday. I want to sort of grip it and rip it if you're fading things at prior lows. But the other side of this Nike is someone's holding it at 53 right now as an iceberg order. So if it does a failed break of 53 right away at 9:30, well, respect the fact it's an iceberg and just look for the short. We saw that on a couple of retail names yesterday where you had this a wall on the stock. It couldn't break it at the open, and then it just immediately flushed. So Nike's got one at 53. I mean, the ideal price would have been fading a little closer into the prior low. But again, if we do that pop and fade here at that 53, I'm going to make sure I have that one up. Bitcoin is far enough away. Oh, Bitcoin's next. But it's far enough away from the bid that I don't need that level 2 up at the open.
Retailers, yeah, okay. By the way, like the TQs is starting to get a little spicy right there. We actually get a 46 fill right there on the downside. So yeah, man, the futures. I might just close the account now and just say, okay, we had a decent Friday. Let's go hit some links. Toronto golf courses opened up yesterday, so that was really nice. It's supposed to be 13 degrees
Then it gets cold again.
here today. All right. Yeah, we can look at retail ETFs again. We had Guess yesterday report. They're not going to do volume today. It's only down 30. It's only 36,000 shares, but relatively flat for Guess right now as they reported. Yeah, look, I think that if you're going to do anything these days, you know, we keep saying this. You want to try to buy the best names. Minecraft was actually really good, Nimit. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it was a great. Kids really liked it, like visually fantastic. I would recommend. I'm not a big fan of the D-box seats, but they like them. But I recommend you. If I ever go to the movie,
the 3D, yeah.
Yeah, the 3D that's to me is great. Jack Black is hilarious. I didn't even know Jason Momoa was in it. He was really funny. It's really fun. It's funny. It's actually funny. Yeah, like we really enjoyed it. The kids loved it.
Okay, we gotta go this
way. I would definitely go to see that.
We're gonna go this way.
No, because it has Minecraft things in it. Like that's the thing. Like it has like. I don't know, the Endermen. I don't even know what they're called. But they have like little Coolidge is in it. Stifler's mom is in it. It's pretty funny overall. Thanks, Nimit, for asking and putting a smile on my face.
That's her name. You actually got Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
I just say Stifler's mom. You actually.
Yeah. It's all good. I'm here. But yeah, at the end of the day, great movie. I would take your kids for sure. So definitely recommending that one. Yeah, but I was gonna say Walmart or Costco. I mean, we just looked at. I mean, I just don't want to switch off Costco there, but yeah, look. I mean, not that bad, right? You know, there's a lot of stocks here that are getting crushed, and that's why we talk about diversification. So retail is free falling, not Costco. It's only down 1%. So I think that you want to buy strength. I know I sound like Michael Noss here, but yeah, look for pockets that are strong. And I don't think retail is necessarily strong. I think the retail, the consumer is going to suffer very much so in the next little while. But you know, again, Walmart not looking nearly as strong. Whoopsies, just close that chart. Not looking nearly as strong as Costco. But at the end of the day, I still think there's more damage to be done all over the place. So I'm holding off on all of these names for now. But I would like Walmart and Costco. I just say stick with the best ones. I'm going to open up that chart again. Back to the desk. Thing is now, I think when you open up charts, it doesn't open up the same when you close. Are we done? No, crypto.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah, let's wrap things up here quickly with a look at crypto. There's not a heck of a lot as far as news is concerned. It is notable that MicroStrategy is green right now, so that's not horrible, but we just held on to that low from late yesterday. 0.8 to the upside here for MicroStrategy currently.
Yeah, I just have Bitcoin up here. I mean, we're actually kind of making slightly higher lows from this weakness we had on Monday, March 11th. So this is like the 15-minute chart. We, right now, are holding up pretty decently around the 81,000 level. I think if we break below that 77,000, that might be a little bit weaker. But yeah, as mentioned earlier, MSTR green. A lot of these crypto names actually held up relatively well for a lot of yesterday's session. So it'll kind of wait and see game for crypto.
It was actually the first thing to bounce there on that 830 number this morning, I noticed too. So maybe some relative strength.
Well, yeah, 100%. If you didn't break the low yesterday when the market gapped down and we were 4% down and you didn't break the low, you actually managed to hold it. Bitcoin showed you where the bid was. IBIT, it's like 46.25 to 46.40-ish. And on Bitcoin, it's 81,000. So those are the levels. I mean, it's the only like obvious support level that I'm kind of looking to just grip and rip, pretty much. You have the 50 period holding on in that daily chart as well. So it's one of the only things that's looking relatively strong. And you're really far away from that turnaround spot off the highs there, like $50. So I don't think there's other pop and fade ideas in there. Unfortunately, it won't be Alibaba just yet because Alibaba just dropped. I don't want to say precipitously, but it just dropped pretty big. And it's because of a 900,000 sell imbalance. NVIDIA is oddly enough a buy. Most things are a sell. NVIDIA's a 470 buy. Apple's a sell imbalance. I mean, Pfizer, Under Armour is a sell. Amazon's a sell as well. TQ is a sell. Peloton. They're all sells except for NVIDIA, which is somehow
TQ's a buy, I thought.
No, I just was just there. Well, now I don't see it.
Well, at the end of the day, we're right now. Yeah, I mean, we're in a 100-handle winner. So, you know, if you're gonna trade, there it is, TQQ buy. Yeah. So anyways, we'll just watch out for it. Buy or not, man. This has been a good day so far, needless to say, but we only have 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. 2 minutes left right now before we open up. We just got out of 46.04 there. So we actually got those lows. Let's just see if we do wipe out here at the end. We're still going to get out at 47. Right now we have about a third left. So President Trump now saying China panicked and played it wrong.
Oh, what else is he going to say?
All right, yeah, make China great again, I guess. I don't know what's going to happen here today. But here we go, man, with less than a minute and a half going. So right now, Trump speaking, this could be spicy here early. We haven't heard too many comments from the White House before market opens. So we'll wait to hear now what's going on as some retaliation talk, obviously, now happening. Yeah. So there it is, man.
Intel.
Big trade alert. This might already be the biggest trade of the day here.
Just a reminder, there was that Intel news yesterday, everybody, where the TSM saying they're going to be 20% investment and doing a partnership with them. Only minutes ago, it's actually bouncing off this 21 level and getting a bit of a bid, breaking it out. So 21 actually looks really good here for Intel, but you can't tell me the fade where it turned yesterday isn't going to be a bit of a thing. I still like AMD a little bit better on a pop and fade, but Intel 21, got to watch out for it. It's got ridiculous relative volume this pre-market. Expected because it was a volume leader in yesterday's trade. So don't want to ignore that. We got less than 30 seconds to go. It's the last opening bell of the week, but it's the second opening bell since we've had the new reality with tariffs and volatility. The first thing I'm looking at is at 53 on Nike to see if that iceberg holds. If he doesn't, I wait for 55. Pop and fade on Chinese stocks, but I'm looking at Alibaba in particular. And I got to put Intel and IBIT on watch. IBIT first. But let's go to Adara, brought to you by Foremost Clean Energy. Your opening bell in 2 and 1. Let's go.
All right, let's see what winds up happening here, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hit the like button if you have not yet. Hit the like to subscribe, all of that. And join the party on the south side. The TQQs.
You found the best trading show on the planet.
Oh, no. We're not doing that right now, my guys. Right now, market needs to be open for a minute before we start promoting the stream a little bit. But, okay, here we go, man. 46.25, 46.30s now on the TQQ. Looks like it's relatively calm open. So far, so good. No dramatic moves yet. I mean, the S&P's already down. We've seen, look, man, we've been comfortable watching some of these moves, right? And so let's just hang out. We're waiting for Palantir. We wrote down 77. It could come into play right now as it's starting to head a little bit lower now as well, despite the market is actually making a move higher right now. And some stocks like Apple just gapped there on open up to 196. So, yeah, man, the market is gapping a little higher right now, led by the big dog here, Apple. I mean, what else were you looking at there?
Intel's at 22. It hit 22.20 on Intel. No, I was looking at IBIT because that's the one I wanted long, but it's not dipping at the open. There was a slight dip on Bitcoin at the open to get you to 47. Am I taking break?
There goes NVIDIA 100.
If this breaks out 100 to the upside. Yeah, if we break out this local high, I'm going to take a shot on IBIT. The iceberg is still, it's not there on Nike, that 53. So they blew right through that like a hot knife through butter on IBIT. Sorry, on Nike. So I'm not going to short at that level. We'll wait for 55. We wait for 120 on BABA. But I'm looking at this 47 too. If we don't get the dip on IBIT and the market breaks out the high, that would be one low.
NVIDIA just went down $1 off that 100 mark. So
I don't. AMD's nowhere near the okay.
Well, AMD.
Yeah, I mean, AMD's only at 91 right now.
Much different stock.
Very different, but I want this fade on it. AMD's the one I want short, not NVIDIA.
Yep. All right, I'm going to go long on a 47 break, I decided right now. So if we can actually break above 47, then I think we're going to try the long here on the NASDAQ. So I want to give that a little bit of a shot, see if it wants to go good, you know. So we'll go and just see if that does happen. It's not looking like it wants to break at all right now. Let's put another bid down here and take that bid as we start to fall. Like, there's that NVIDIA move right there again that just, like, look at that. It just hit 100. We said this could happen, an early move up, because we were all negative on those imbalances. And oh boy, here it comes right back into the downside right there. We just said we're taking a break long at 47, and we just got filled again on our short at 46. So yeah, wild thoughts, Adara.
Keep an eye on Foremost Clean Energy. This is FMST, the company announcing the commencement of its 2025 exploration drill program at the Hatchet Lake Uranium Project. It's located in the Athabasca Basin, and this is going to be basically a 2,000-meter helicopter-supported diamond drill program. Commenced recently, and it's being conducted on behalf of Foremost by Drew's Geological Consulting. So keep an eye here on FMST. Back to you.
All right, I'm covering some more here right now. Yeah, go check them out, FMST. Thanks to Derek for that one. Here we go to the downside right now. If you haven't liked this stream, please like it right now. Over 10,000 of you watching. There it is, man. The TQs, we're taking some more out. It's a good win. It's 85 handles. We should take this in case the market does decide to bounce. NVIDIA's trying to bounce off 98s. 94s, let's hope not. Palantir, okay, it has that bottom wick there at 79. That could be a bottom if you want to try it. I'm waiting to see what happens on the NASDAQ here for a break, potentially lower through some of these pre-market levels. It's not that they're the pre-market's all the way down there, but this is a new low. Right now, incoming for your boy. There it is, man, spin the money. It's day's goal, hit right there today. We've already talked about that. Let's just keep it going as the NASDAQ is in free fall right now, man. What's up, Tom Petty?
Free fall in. We're in Nike. We're not in AMD, unfortunately, as that one just wicked it and continues to break lower. The iceberg on Nike eventually broke, did a topping tail candle, so we're going reversal on that. NVIDIA's not really doing a heck of a lot. Intel, which is absolutely is doing a ridiculous amount of volume, but a huge topping tail on Intel. I'm going to stick with AMD for the short. Alibaba, we got nothing going on. It's trying to get back to 120, so I want to give it some room. It's at 118. It's $2 away from where we want the entry on Alibaba. So I'm not going to jump into it just yet, just trying to play it a little bit calm to see if we can't get our price. I'm looking over at Apple, and Apple just continues to fly. So is it Apple that's going to get to the prior low first? No, that's at $200.
I don't know. I'm going to try Tesla here. Tesla is getting hot right here. I'm just going to try small. I'm not... we're shorting the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's been the hot fire trade for me so far here today. We don't want to give too much of this back, but that 256 could be, I was going to say we just tried to buy something. We did right there at 257.40, but here it comes right back in again. So this is just because I thought Tesla looked pretty strong there. Look, we're still short the NASDAQ. This is going to work out for us, hopefully. But I was trying to play this basically off of VWAP, and if we broke it, then we could cash out. And I was looking at that bottom. That's 253.50. So we'll take again here at 255, and then watch out for that 253.50, because this is not a trade where it's like, let's layer into anything right now. If it wants to go, great, we'll be on board with this. If Tesla breaks this low of, I just want to see what exactly, I mean, we can play off of VWAP, but yeah, 253.50, let's just put that in right now, 253.48. The price really isn't going to matter. I mean, it's trading dollars, not pennies right now. So, all right, so it's a huge move down at 125 handles now. I mean, we traded this from the jump. This was the short that we had as soon as we sat down, as soon as 8:30 hit, we were short. We were short again. Boom, there it goes to the downside. It is the TQQs. Obviously, we wish we had waited for better prices on Tesla, but here comes a better price, breaking through 255. That's VWAP. It doesn't look like Tesla wants to hold VWAP, but it's there now, so we will try the long. Look, we're long at 256.50. Hopefully we can get that bounce back. If not, man, then this will be a $3 loss on about 2 units maybe of Tesla. I just think it's worth something down here. Let's see if it goes. But wow, man, those futures continue to go lower. But yeah, bad trade here on Tesla as we took the long probably too early, but we're willing to obviously catch out of it or stop out of this if it gets through that level. So here comes Tesla.
Well, you're absolutely tanking on AMD now, so you can pretty much.
I buy Tesla too
in the pop and fade. Nike's basically flat, but at this point, I'm kind of thinking reversion on anything that's strong, which is oddly enough, Apple is looking pretty strong right now. I'm gonna give this one more bit. Apple's weird because that's the one we kind of wanted to dip buy on, but if it's gonna do that move, if we're first to get there up here at the prior lows, and that's the one I want to jump into. I'll quickly show you guys Nike. This retailer, like it came back through VWAP. I'm in, haven't been filled at the $50 yet. Want to make sure if at 53 holds where there was an iceberg that we can get a little bit more shares there. It's AMD and Baba.
This is just getting to be.
Yeah, AMD and Baba, the two names that I like to the south side. The Chinese names are getting smoked a little bit here, back into the low. So you're actually at low of day. What is going on, chart? There we go. Weird action on the chart there. So right at the low, which I was trying to get 120. So I don't want to be flat bottom breaking and punching any lows in this market. So maybe first available pop, look to get something off a current resistant level. There's always a chance that you get the price you want. This is one of those crazy days where I'm looking over, I'm like, everything looks weak, and I'm just staring down Apple going higher and higher, and I'm not believing it. It's like, I don't believe you, Apple. If you're having a tariff war with China, how are you going up like this? So I'm still going to think reversion on this. It's just $3 away from 200, which I think is the big level.
We just got that 150 handles there on the NASDAQ, and it's making that move lower, man. I'm glad we did not get stopped out of that at the high side there. But yeah, we have to stop and fail on our first try at a long there today. It was Tesla. I'm going to still try it if it breaks back above 254, but we got stopped out where we said we would. So now we'll wait to see what winds up happening on Tesla. Hopefully it will battle back, but it's moving, like I said, it's moving dollars. So we're not going to try to layer into there we go. We just got long again. We're not going to try to layer into too many shares here on Tesla, just because of how, see how violent it is right there? It rips up, goes up about 20 or 30 cents, then comes right back in again. So, we're waiting to catch that tail, and, the tail's being wagged pretty good here today to the downside. So, again, if this breaks below, we're trying to make $1 and change on this.
Tell Apple.
Yeah, I know you were saying that about Apple. I'm surprised at that one, to be honest with you. But yeah, good move there. I thought with China, see, there it goes again. We just got a bunch, not a bunch of outs, but we got out 20% there as it rips into 50s. And yeah, it's take out some on the pop and then just try to wait to see. So right there's 253 breakdown. It goes down to 252. We can play off this last sort of wick right there, but then we're just going to get wicked out again. So trying to take some out as we pop and try to absorb some again here on Tesla. So far, not so great there as this name starts to go a little lower. Good thing we were able to cash a little bit out, but it's the TQs. Everything's kind of just, I don't know. You mentioned Apple there. If it's going up, man, I think we should fade it.
Nvidia's tanking. AMD's tanking.
Yeah, so is Tesla.
Bitcoin's falling. Apple is just holding up like an absolute champ. And when I'm staring it down, it's okay, well, what's the setup that's available right now? And it's essentially just a trend break. I'm going to get rid of this again. It's just simply a trend break. We're just trying to do. It's just so early to try to establish a trend line here. I'd like it to press even higher at this particular moment, but you're just not really seeing it. So just going to have to be patient with this bad boy. AMD just broke $88. Let me just cancel orders. I'm like $3 away on AMD. AMD just broke $88 to the downside. That's getting absolutely destroyed. Intel, which was trying to go, that's also fading. I'm going to play off this local high here on.
12,
I just don't believe this on Apple. So we're going to just get in.
I would agree with that.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, Fabian is telling us to get those like counts going. We have over 12,000 of you. Fabian said 1,200, but of course he means 12,000 people watching right now. Make sure you do. I was like 1,200. Was the stream down? Yeah. Let's go, guys. Get those likes going as we, if you hit the like button, it's more likely that your stocks will trade properly for you. But that hasn't been happening for me other than the short. There goes the TQQs to the downside again. And we just got that fill down there. So we're waiting, man. It looks like we're about to get stopped out here of the Tesla trade, breaking through 251. We're gone. Then we'll just stop buying dips, man, and we'll just wait. So we'll give back the day here, obviously trading Tesla, as we've lost now, make on the futures short. Should have just stuck with that, as we're now 200 handles in the money on that trade right there. And there goes Tesla again. So one last attempt at that, breaking through 251. We got stopped out right there. So a couple longs we tried in Tesla. The market, no long, no more. They're almost 200 in right now on the TQs. Did not expect this dramatic. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say we didn't expect it, obviously. But we did expect a short. But this is a nice push down. NASDAQ now down 3.4. I obviously thought that we had a rebound possibility there, but it doesn't look like we do right now. Now goes Tesla back up. But I don't want to get frustrated. Let's bid some more out there on the TQs and watch out to see where Tesla is going. I mean, still at the same levels. Maybe it bounces off 250, or maybe we just go to Palantir. I don't know. What are you in? You're in short, so that's great. Here comes Palantir down to 77. This is the level that I kind of liked.
Apple at VWAP right now and attempting to catch a little bit of a bid because Apple is trying to defy a little bit of logic in here. Look, Alibaba's breaking the low of the day. Am I taking a low break? It's on volume. I'm not going to take the low break on BABA, but I'm trying to add to Apple if we get the opportunity here. Yeah, we're going to try to add to Apple on any kind of a pop. It's BABA that we wanted the shorts on, and it's now breaking out that low of the day. Bottoming tail candle on massive, massive volume.
Massive.
That can't be real. I'm kind of thinking to myself, that's a dark pool wick. So you don't short on a candle like that. We'll let it do a relief rally. That's a ridiculous candle that I'm almost not believing. Oh, Nike just blew through the top, so we'll have to fail on Nike.
The top?
Yes.
Okay.
That was just like, yeah. There we
Not
go.
expecting that.
Yeah, Nike was trending right back in. It just blew through the top. So we just got back in at the 53.5 and pretty much instantly out. So Nike looking like it's catching a bit of a bid. We'll stay away from that if it wants to catch one. But Apple bouncing, we're going to try and short that top.
Why do I do this to myself?
BABA, we're going to short. But I don't like that bottoming tail candle. Like, you don't short on a candle like this. You got to wait for it to come back up. I think you're going to get a little relief rally. That's a wild, wild reversal candle. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye here on Aldera Therapeutics, ALDX. This name, I'm going to move this. You can see here. Gap down pretty hard yesterday. FDA rejecting one of its treatments for eye disease, dry eye disease for the second time. But today, bouncing a little bit here. Up on the day, 9% short float for ALDX. And again, no economic data here at 9:45 or 10. But Fed Chair Powell taking the podium there at 11:25. Back to you.
I'm honestly, the next time I trade something that's not on my stupid sticky note, it's going to be a problem. Right now, Palantir, man, we write down 77s, bang, goes down to 77, we take it, now 80 cents in the money. We write down NVIDIA 96, we even take NVIDIA early, and that bangs to the high side as well. Meanwhile, we're sitting there like, you know, chomping at the bit for Tesla. Like, just stick with what you're doing, man. There's Palantir 77 long. There's NVIDIA 96 long. There's the futures short. I mean, we're going to hit those. We're going to lose on Tesla, but we're going to win on these for now, which is why we start to scalp it out. So a little bit of frustration there as we do not follow our plans. And yeah, plans very, very successful so far. As here we go, man. We'll see if we can get Palantir going again. And just a tale of different stocks. Bang, let's go, man. This is the money train right now. Trying to follow your own rules. And this is what we talk about. Stay in your lane, trade what you trade. And we trade Tesla. It's just it wasn't on the radar for us there again. So look, if NVIDIA breaks 97, then we're gone. Or sorry, 96, then we're gone. But we'll wait to see if it does have that sort of catch up, oh boy moment here back to the upside. Well, hopefully it will blast a little bit and then we'll be able to do that. So right now we're waiting for it, man. We've cashed out of the TQs. Now we go, there goes Palantir, Neil. Now that's $1 in the money. So we'll go as that's starting to go back up to the upside now as well. Let's start to cash this out. There goes NVIDIA. That's also $1 in the money. So as we keep on going high side there again for the cow trade. What's up, Ozane all? Here we go, baby. We're back in the business now, finally.
Wow, we just got VWAP for the buck on Apple. Apple's right back to the high of the day. Apple's too strong, everybody.
Too strong.
It's just too strong. It just faded back into VWAP, and as quickly as it could bounce.
2 chains.
Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So, they're buying it up. Maybe it's a safe haven thing. Someone asked, what's the deal with Apple? And I simply said, just follow the price action. The reason why it's getting bought doesn't have to make any sense. Just respect the fact that it is. Right? So IBIT just reverted trend. It didn't get to the low of the day. Followed the downward trend, took the break out of the local high. It's signaling along at this point. So we're just going to take our shot at it here in IBIT. That's one name we did want to the long side. Lots of room if we get a rally day on Bitcoin. One of the few things that didn't break out that low of the day. Alibaba still kind of hanging out off those lows.
Oh.
Yeah, so Baba's not looking that strong. Still like to get it into that high. I don't want to play VWAP just yet on Alibaba. We'll take some IBIT out as it crosses VWAP.
Nice.
But I want this Baba short. And it's just a matter of, am I taking it off VWAP, am I taking it off the highs? So we'll let this bar close, get an idea if we're still making lower highs. Otherwise, we wait for the absolute top here on Baba. And I promised myself, I said if Baba didn't set up, I'd look at NEO. Well, NEO's chart's pretty much the same thing. So we go back to Alibaba.
All right, good calls there. I mean, we looked at China earlier and now looking at it here. All right, man. The #1 trade was Palantir long there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. There's Palantir long at 77. We got it. We're trying to take some more out, though, here because we have been, okay, NVIDIA as well, trying to get going a little bit here. Hopefully that can happen for us. but it was Tesla that was too stressful for me early as we traded that to the long side, did not work. So we'll make it back here, hopefully on Palantir. I mean, I'm gonna try to hold now in case that was some kind of a bottom there. I'm thinking that this could be a much bigger move in for the rest of the day here. So I'm actually just going to take the time now. We have 2% left of this trade. I'm gonna get out another piece here at 46. So we'll take it out on the TQs as we have rallied back. We got all the prices we needed, man. I mean, the minute that this fell back in to the lows that we had already taken, 45.20s, 45. I mean, we can't believe we even got 45s right there as well. We exit that, and now we start. Let's just get the hell out. Okay, there it is, man. Yes, sir. It's the money trade of the day right there, the TQs. But we're putting some damage right back in now. As there goes Palantir, man. Palantir now almost. We're trying to get to $2, but it's NVIDIA is the one that I think can really start to work out for us because it's starting to pop here. And we'll take some more out at 50s. Let's just let this one work. We also, oh, and by the way, we can talk about Palantir off the sticky note, Neil, or we can also talk about NVIDIA off the sticky note, where we had Palantir 77 long, NVIDIA 96 longs. So those are the two positions that we have in right now, and they're totaling about 250. So let's wait to see if the market wants to respect these levels and continue to go higher, or are we just getting faded right now and it actually wants to go the other way. So we're gonna play the sort of the bull case now and say maybe, just maybe, this market is a little overextended to the downside. So that's what I'm gonna be playing, and let's just see if that does wind up working out for us. Not really that great yet though. Good outs. It's only 950.
Yeah, we're still in the open range,
that's
everybody.
The thing.
So I'm taking, like, at this time of day, not really established trends, but I just took a reversion in Intel. Remember that $21 level at the bottom yesterday when the news came out? Like that support level. It just closed above the trend line, like very, very briefly there, breaking out that prior bar. Took the shot long. We'll give it to that low of the day. IBIT as well. Good thing we got some out at VWAP, because what do you think happened at VWAP? Curls at volume-weighted average price and coming right back in. So I'll reload this off the low, see if we can't get that going, but it's that BABA.
Ooh.
It's still trending higher, so this is the one that we wanted to short side. AMD as well, but I mean, the AMD is a different story. I'll get there in a second. BABA is still trending into 120, so we didn't take it at VWAP because it never set up there. Now we wait for it to get to that high. It looks like it's trying very, very hard to do that. In chip space, like, I don't know what to tell you about AMD. Like, the market is bouncing. AMD's not going anywhere. Usually, if we're heading up, you want to let it come to you, like Alibaba's doing, but AMD, for whatever reason, is just, yeah, it's not participating. Like, I'm watching NVIDIA go.
NVIDIA's a beauty.
I'm watching Apple. Like, Apple is ridiculous at this point. Probably a good idea not to be short this. It bounced off VWAP and is now flying like a bat out of you-know-what. So Apple wants $200 right quick, as far as I can sell. So it looks like it's going to be the big one. Can't wrap my head around AMD, so I'm just going to wait for it to make its next move, and we'll try to get some of this Alibaba. It's starting to curl a little bit here. I want $1 higher on BABA, and then we can try going short. And LA87P, I know AMD's not NVIDIA, but I would, yeah, that's obvious. Yeah. I think we all understand that. But I would still expect it to catch a little bit more of a bid and a relief rally. When you're down this much, I generally expect it bounces to get to drag things a little bit more rapidly, right? So you want to play patient. You can't even get to VWAP on this thing when the market is at least pressing towards some of the highs.
Yeah, good look there on NVIDIA, and thanks for talking about it, guys, there on the chat, and AMD and all the chip names, because NVIDIA is the banger right here for me today. Although the futures will be my #1 trade, it's NVIDIA right there that we are able to just pick those lows, and Palantir, but it's NVIDIA that just worked up to 98 and VWAP, so that's why I didn't want to interrupt, but we had gotten some shares out there, a good amount of shares actually at 98 and at 98 and change right there to the upside. So it's just absorbing some of these longs right now, and just hopefully they'll be able to work for us the rest of the day. But let's have a quick look at some of the bank names as we're just looking at major tech. Oh, I mean, you were on Nike and you're in crypto, so actually I take that back. We're in a few different things here. But JP Morgan still down 5. It doesn't even look like it wants 5.5. Doesn't look like it wants to go higher. I mean, out of all of them, you know, the bank's not really having that move back upside, so that's going to be definitely something to look look for here. Whoopsies, as we continue to go, I just lowered the level 2. Looks like Tesla's trying to bounce a little bit. I got to keep my hands on the board here because we're getting close. Like Palantir, I just took some more out at 40s on the upside there, and now it's breaking through 78 again. So, you know, we still have some risk on here for all of these names. I'm going to take some more out of NVIDIA as well. On NVIDIA, we still have 40%, so that's going to be good. On Palantir, we still have only 20%. So getting more out on Palantir, that's $1.50. NVIDIA is now going. Here we go, man. Break yourself. Break higher, man. We've got the big ones going on right now, so let's get those bulls right back in there. These are the levels that we wrote down. Let me guess. Apple 190 long, that didn't hit because Neil was mentioning how strong Apple's been. But I think the winner chicken dinner of the day here is going to be NVIDIA, as that's now up $1.50 for me. Well, so is Palantir. So both of these trades, NVIDIA's $2 now in the money and going higher. I was confusing the price with Palantir, but there it goes, nicely cooking now for NVDA. Just got to 98.50. Let's put some orders right here, right now. Get some out at the quarters, and now we'll see what winds up happening. But it's NVIDIA so far, so good. Big battle back there for NVDA.
Yeah, battle back for NVIDIA. Market getting back to the highs. $200 on Apple. I just got the short off the lower high here on BABA. Going to the, usually I go to that top. No, I'm just going to the prior bar high in this case. So 118.5. Bitcoin just filled in front of the iceberg order. It's at 47.20, everybody, on IBIT. I saw a few people like, hey, IBIT. 47.20 had a brick wall on the pre-market, and there's just underneath that, there's resistance here at like 40.17. So profit in front, try to buy the dip if we can off of the support level on IBIT. Just want to respect what's happening. Somebody's selling it at 47.15 to 47.20. It's been happening since like 9:20 or 9 o'clock in the morning. If they break that out, though, my gut's telling me, you know, punch that long on a break of 47.20. So take profit out, go long if we break through whatever that iceberg order is on IBIT. Alibaba, we're finally in. Still no AMD. Maybe we get VWAP on Alibaba, but I'd like to start making some lower highs that we could add to this position. Ideally, that would be the case on BABA. Yeah, like the rejection at the top. Like you're seeing so many names that are doing this. This might just be the only place that you can grab AMD. Like you're breaking 52-week lows. You're resuming trend that's been here for like a year. You're down 7%. I mean, I'm just going to have to take a shot at this on this lower high. Sometimes you just got to short the level it's at because it's showing you resistance there and not wait for a line on a chart. I've done this before and then watched AMD be down like breaking lows and all that stuff, and we never actually get into it. I'm going to try a shot at here before this 88, or I just take an 87 breakdown as it's a flat bottom break as well. So one of those two things has to happen.
You know what's been really strong here is Google. I mean, this is another name here that although the market is now coming back in, and like I said, we started talking about
China risk, right?
Yeah, what percentages? Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, they're not even in China. What percentages we had there as a risk for? I was talking about YouTube there, yeah. This could be the one. I mean, I think right now, because it's only 9:56, not even super late yet by any stretch of imagination, the market just sort of figuring out its first opening range. You know, if we fall back in, I think this is kind of showing us that there's some strength here in Google, only down 0.46. We talked about Meta being down to $500 again there today. So what is this down? Okay, so still down 3.5. So it is a big time relative strength right now in Google. So yeah, I think this is the one that we want to wait for. VWAP there at 149. You're starting to break out. I mean, I would actually go long now on this name, maybe trying to hold that 149.80. That's a possibility here for Google. It's just where do we think the market is? That's the question. If you think the market can hold these levels, then I'm pretty sure Google will go. If you're bullish right here, NASDAQ down 3, you know, Google's probably a good go. I mean, we can give it to one. There it goes. Shoot. Okay. I was just about to buy. I was just about to tell you guys like that I was going to go against that level right there, 149.80. Okay. Well, look, at least we just saw Google pop right in front of our face. So at least there's something there. You know, now we're looking. The whole NASDAQ just popped, which is great for us as NVIDIA. Both of those stocks remain dollars. But at the end of the day, Google right there, real strong, man. Maybe we'll play a dip back into 150. Let's put a bid. Hey, maybe it comes back in. Just like it just ripped up, maybe Google comes back and gives us something near that 150. Let's give that one a shot. But wow. Right in front of our face right there. Good one. Yeah.
It makes so much sense, but hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Less China risk, great PE, which is going to matter. Like, people are going to want companies that are generating cash if we're going into a recession. Although you would think advertising would be a problem, but cross that bridge when you get there. Two things. Did we break? We broke. So Alibaba, respecting this bottoming tail candle at 116, to me makes way too much sense. You saw it. It's ridiculous. But IBIT, or Bitcoin, just broke that
iCoin.
I can't call it an iceberg order because I didn't actually see like a refresher or anything on the level, but let's just say it was an iceberg or a big seller at 47.20. So it just broke it out. The high in the pre-market, or at least the high right before the open, was at 47.3. So I want to get some out in front of that. If we break that, we just zoom it out even further. You don't have a heck of a lot in terms of resistance between that 47.3 and the overnight gap. There's just nothing there. So every 5-10 cents on this presumed resistance. Bitcoin has not been moving that much percentage-wise. Well, I'm not looking for this to get to $50 on IBIT or us to see 88,000. If we get to 84, that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure this out right now because the market is just. Do we want to be long or short? That's always the question.
Apparently long Apple. Right now, Apple 200 is in the back of my mind.
Look, man, I know we're talking about all these, like, I'm $3 in the money on these two positions with NVIDIA near the top and Palantir, but it doesn't matter. Like, we're looking for more. So if there is any sort of names that you guys want to talk about here, man, yeah, you're right. I know you just got bleeped out there, but let's go. Like, let's get going here right now. There goes Palantir. So we're going to miss that. I mean, whatever. Miss it. We always have ideas. We'll miss that Google, but we're going to get some more out here on Palantir because that's a huge move right back up to VWAP again. So let's take some more out here at 60s. So we'll just do that. And there it goes. Huge move on Palantir. Great move. Not a huge move. Happy with the move on NVIDIA. Would rather see it back up at day's high. So we'll wait to see if that can happen and go now to Adara.
Pretty eventful morning so far. We started the day with a pretty intense red 15-minute candle. Green 15-minute candle for the second candle, though it was unable to eclipse all of the sell-off that we had at the open here. S&P 500 down about 2.5%. NASDAQ down almost the exact same amount actually here. NASDAQ looking a little bit stronger perhaps than the S&P 500 at this point. China here announcing retaliatory tariffs of 34% against the U.S. following the U.S. tariff announcement that we had on Wednesday night. No economic data to really watch for the rest of the day, but Fed Chair Powell speaking at 11:25 a.m. and his remarks will be of interest given the fact that we had stronger than expected non-farm payrolls coming through this morning for March, 228,000 versus 140,000 expected. Here's Apple. This name was the Mag 7 name, that probably got hit the hardest yesterday. They are likely to be impacted by these tariffs due to the fact they actually tried to expand their supply chain outside of China. AAPL, though, nice little bounce off the open. Needham did express some uncertainty about the tariffs in an analyst note, but they maintained their buy rating and $260 price target. Banks here like JPM near lows of day. Bank earnings just 1 week away here, starting on April 11th, and these banks got hit pretty hard due to some concerns, of course, about consumer spending and a potential recession. Back to you.
A list of things that I meant to do at the open was see the opening range on XLF and make a decision in the long term. I'm going to get to, someone asked a question about Micron, and short answer, it absolutely never fulfilled what I was looking for holding that bottom for a swing trade. It gapped through that when we had the tariffs. But I'll show you the chart, guys, later. IBIT, so there's like 10,000 shares, no, check that, 100,000 share sellers that are popping up every 5 cents or so between like 35, 40. So I just took another leg out. I was getting out on the way up
Google came in.
at the even pennies, like in front of 30, in front of 40, in front of 50. And now like these bigger chunk sellers are starting to come in. If we get underneath that prior iceberg, I'm out and waiting for VWAP. Like the buy was down here under VWAP anyways. So if we lose the place that we broke out from, jump out of the trade, look for a re-entry here on IBIT. Oh, Apple just tanked.
I was going to say, how did Google just come in for me?
All right, well, Apple's been holding VWAP. I didn't short it this time on the curl because I think Apple's ridiculously strong today. So if we get to VWAP, the trend is your friend to the end when it bends. So Obi always loves to say. Actually, was it Obi or was that? Yeah, it's Obi. I was going to say it was maybe Max or somebody else, but no, it was Obi. So right now, you're holding VWAP on that first bounce. We shorted it to VWAP last time. This time I did not go short. I'm just looking for the bounce on Apple. Doesn't make necessarily sense to me how China could retaliate and Apple would be strong. But until it breaks down under VWAP or breaks its trend to the upside, price action wins. Doesn't make any sense to me fundamentally, but who cares?
Oh, I see what she's saying. Okay. Yeah, so Google just came in. We took some out there at 40, 45, something like that. But it did come into our area. We were waiting for 149.50 to break. Unfortunately, it happened too quickly. Like, I didn't even have another bid lower. So we'll see if we can get a little bit more on this Google because, you know, we like the levels here. It's just a matter of will the NASDAQ decide to hold? I mean, we could also play the futures at this level here as well. But I'm going to go with a Google because it has been relatively strong down here. Well, apparently anyways. So we'll play it. My next offer is at 150.80. Hopefully it can get back up to there. Yesterday, Robinhood was no good. Let's see what it is today. Probably worse. Another 10% down for Robinhood. Like, wow. Okay, why isn't my daily chart? Okay, there it is. Now it's, okay. So you are getting like, I mean, there's going to be lots of stocks like this, but that's back-to-back 10% days. This has been... So again, its high was $46 back on April 2nd, which was 2 days ago. Now you're down to $34 there on Robinhood. So a name that I thought we liked, I guess we do not, as that's, well, I still like it, but the market maybe doesn't. As that's starting to make that move down there is Robinhood. So a good job getting out of some of these shorts, some of these longs as we start to go back up to the upside. It looks like crypto and IBIT might be the only thing working right now for the long. I mean, look, we're $3 in the money. Like we've got NVIDIA and Palantir, but they're just dancing. Like we'd like to see some continuation here in some of these names. What's Walmart doing? Yeah, see, so this is the kind of move that I'm trying to find out here in tech land, and it just doesn't look like it wants to happen. It wants to happen everywhere else. Like, what is going on with Caterpillar?
Oh, quick update.
Oh, update, yeah.
17 held on Alibaba. Kind of got lost in the sauce on that one. So we bounced off the even dollar on Baba. We got out of the short. It's also trending up. Like bottoming tail candle on huge volume, and now it's putting in a higher low. Just going to respect its flow at this point because that's all you can do. And the sellers have been chasing this down on IBIT, and when I say the sellers, I just mean whoever's popping in and selling 100 shares on the book. 100,000 lots on the book. I don't know if they'll show up so I can show you in real time, but this is the regular liquidity on IBIT. So if you see 100,000 shares instead of the regular 4,000 or 5,000, it tends to stick out. And they have managed to get it right back down into that 47.2. If we lose 47.2, I was out of 80% of it. It just broke under. I covered 80%. I'm out and going to wait for VWAP or the low of the day. This feels like the kind of morning to be able to get out, get in, and reassess. Yeah. So I still like long on IBIT. I'm just going to look for a different long. I still like short on Alibaba. I just have to look for either the same reentry off 118.5 or maybe the 119, 120 top. And then on top of that, Apple is trying to get to VWAP. We have not traded Apple today. Just one note on Apple. Remember, it is SSR because it was down 10% yesterday. Unique situation, which a lot of times lends itself to extreme rallies. It's also bouncing off of, I mean, you're talking about a June breakaway level, that 191. So there's big technical things happening on Apple, which could be the reason why it's showing some strength. But as you can see, it's kind of screaming down into VWAP. It was a violent turn. Like, it didn't give you a consolidation. It just bounced and went. So we've got to watch this one closely if it does the same thing again.
Yeah, everything is getting to be at some of these lows again, like a Palantir. Oopsies, like a Palantir came all the way back. So this is why we're talking about, like, you know, trying to absorb some of these plays when they go up and they hit our levels, like a VWAP or like a 50-period moving average, like the day's, you know, session high. We talked about it just becoming 10 o'clock just right now. So I think patience will be very, very, okay, so Palantir just cracked lower. So we get our 77.25 fill right there. So now we're long at 33s. So if we do get a bounce back up into the 60s or so, we can get a piece out. But yeah, breaking too much below 77. Now we don't have all of our stops at the exact dollars, but they're like 20 or 30 cents away. So here we go, man, hands off. We just, we've taken our last, and again, the reload will put us into a position of like maybe 1.5 units right now on Palantir. Do not want to layer into anything too strongly. The only thing that I'm looking to do maybe would be Google, and we're already in this one, and we'll just have to wait to see where it goes from here. But this Google, we're waiting for 149 to break. So it's my levels are getting all messed up here because I'm watching NVIDIA, Palantir, and Google. So we have 3 big positions long right now, which long into this market has not been a great idea, but we've taken the money out already. So right now we'll give a little bit back, trying to find out some of these bottoms. That's the thing, like bottom picking, very, very dangerous in this market. Would be much better to have it to form a bottom and then go, right? And that's what we thought we were doing with Google when it looked like it was basing out at 150, but now we just come right back into some of these lines. So we got to give it a shot to work itself out right now. So CoreWeave, good job there, Rivian Millionaire. That's going to be a name that I was thinking about buying on any dips, meaning that we know that this is being underwritten by some bosses. So if you know, they may want this to hold, but remember where it IPO'd at, 39 bucks. So if you're going to think about some levels, we saw ARM bounce off some of those IPO levels before as well. This one maybe down to 40, 44, 45 for CoreWeave. All right, Palantir just broke. So Palantir breaks. We're getting out at 76.85 break.
Nike's going.
Yeah, so I think everything's going, man, right now to the downside. There comes NVIDIA, our last fill at 96. So, hey, man, this is like that one white flag moment where the market has just flushed back into the lows again. Will we hold? This is the chance right now to find out. So it's Google, it's NVIDIA, it's Palantir. They all came right back in. The only thing we got stopped out so far was Palantir, but NVIDIA's right here now at 96. The shorts definitely working out right now if you had held on to them. My biggest stock still remains the TQs. And we had an opportunity to short basically the same levels again and didn't. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Just trying to absorb some of this pain back in. But it was okay.
Apple's holding.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I know. If Apple's strong, we should probably be trading Apple.
Apple's holding VWAP, but only for now. But Nike did a reversion. So every time one of these stocks does this, I think this is going to be the setup I'm going to prefer because we have a market which is just trending and going back and forth and bouncing. So the only clean thing has been actually letting it break the trend, like getting in, oh, there's the prior high, let's get in off the prior high.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's screaming to the upside, so it just blows out the prior high. So wait for it to do the trend break, and then wait for VWAP. So I'm getting out of 75% into VWAP. It would have been prior bar high, but we've already tagged this level here, so I guess my stop moves to break even on Nike, which I just realized I canceled, but didn't replace my stop to come talk to you guys. So I move my trailing stops manually. Like I don't have it set at, hey, every 10 cents it trails down with it. I move it manually using prior bars on a 3-minute. So I'm going to move it every time it makes another leg down. I will hold on to a piece for underneath VWAP. And let me just double check on IBIT because that's also back at the volume weighted average price. But look at this thing. It's just heavy. We're just real heavy down in here. Like you got to see some kind of a turn and bounce. Like with IBIT, it was a similar thing. Like didn't try to catch the bottom, just try to let it make the bottom, break the little downtrend, and take the breakout. Well, that's what I want to do on pretty much all of these trades. Manuel saying that Amazon's relatively strong. Doesn't have to make sense. It's just seemingly true. That's way stronger than Apple. I'm looking at Apple's down here at VWAP already.
Yeah, I know. This is like the Nasdaq's getting hit because like we have Palantir, not Palantir.
My brain's saying, then why wouldn't I just revert Amazon?
Yeah.
Everything wants to fall like this. And you can get something at the top, which should just follow the broad market.
Market's at that bottom again.
I don't know. You know what? I'm like staring down a reversion on 3 different things. You just got to pick your poison, man. Like, I don't want to get rid of my BABA level 2. I don't want to get rid of IBIT level 2. I don't want to get rid of Apple. And we're in Nike. So, yeah, as tempting as that looks,
that's the 220.
That looks like a really good mean reversion possibility on Amazon, but You can't do everything.
No,
It was a great point out for everybody. It's a really good point out.
yeah, no, oh man. Okay, so we still have a little bit of Google here at 149. We'll punch a little bit more if it does go back up, but we do have to slap a fail on that last idea there because we tried to buy it down to VWAP. We thought Google was strong. I mean, it is relatively strong when you're looking at the market, but definitely on a day like this, man, wow. The market continues to bleed downside. Someone just said GME puts. What is GME doing? Still up.
Tanking.
No, up. GME's up 3%, so
Why?
not tanking at all. I don't know.
Yeah, the market's down 4%. We're in a trade war. Let's buy GME. You know what, though? Sometimes when the market's getting bled, it's squeeze names that want to go, but let's see if there's a fundamental reason why GME is holding up or whatever news is out there.
Yeah.
There actually is. So yesterday during the market recap, some people pointed this move to the upside out in our chat. I didn't see anything at the time, but it does turn out later that we found out Ryan Cohen did actually reveal via an SEC filing that he's added to his position to GME. He has just over 8% now of their total shares. So Ryan Cohen, CEO of GME, adding to his GameStop position. It's worth noting, though, we still have not taken out yesterday's aftermarket highs. That is the GME story for a little bit of context here. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Adara. All right, 275.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if I don't trust. I'm not going to trust the move in GameStop, and I don't know that that's the thing that I would want to trade. But you've got to respect the price action. Like I think it's one of the things that you circle back to. And if we're breaking this double top out, maybe you just try to enjoy the ride and leave it at that. You know, so again, I'm not going to necessarily sit there believing it. You want to stay in the pocket if you can. All right, we're trying to bounce off of VWAP here. And I only had, okay, there we go. We'll get one more fill, and then we'll be out of 75% of Nike and then try to hold through the bottom. Apple is trying to hold VWAP as we speak. Someone was asking, that's a pretty nice looking candle if it closes green on Apple. A little bottoming tail underneath VWAP. So Apple could be turning a little bit here. 18,000 on the NASDAQ is trying to hold while Apple's trying to hold VWAP. So that's obviously a pretty big spot. 47 on iBid is also trying to hold VWAP as we're trying to get a little bit of a curl here on both those names. My first thought is if we're bouncing here, why wait lower? Just get that out, get that leg out on Nike right now. Just jump on the bid. Like, who cares if it makes that other push down? If the market turns here and I wanted to get one more out on Nike, I should just take it. We can hold the rest through VWAP and get an order at even dollars here. Nicole Harris, thank you for the super chat. Yeah. Intel and Neo puts are working. Do you see Intel 20? I don't know if it's not going to. The bottom has been 19 on Intel, I believe.
Yes, 1980, 1950, 1930.
It's been 19 something on Intel. I don't think, like, 20 is obviously a good psychological number. Yeah, 19. Like, the buyers have been at 19 on Intel. So if you're filling in this gap. So if you're short it, the trend is your friend. It looks like a great short. The only thing I'd concern myself with is it's already down 8%. Like, you get SSR and go down 10% and then catch one of those little SSR bounces. Maybe watch the 10%
not bouncing
at some point. But the Intel, what bottom?
Yeah.
Not for another 8% on this chart. Yuck, Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at WorkSport, introducing new discovery on the NASDAQ. WorkSport, ticker WKSP. WorkSport's a US-based manufacturer, and they are rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. So whether you are on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, WorkSport, they've got you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under ticker WKSP. So discover the future of clean energy with WorkSport. Back to you.
All right, come on, man. Let's just think about, 18,000 maybe holding. We just tried to get back to the upside again on the futures. This is what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I got a little sidetracked there. We should have stuck with the futures instead of trying to pick. No, look, I mean, being up on Palantir, NVIDIA, all that is great. But realistically, the most that we're up on is going to be, not realistically, actually, I guess that's the same thing. We are we have done real well on the futures, but the fact that they went all the way to the bottom and we never really needed to get stopped out. We actually never got stopped out. I punched out there just because I thought the market was rallying. I should have trusted the levels, and we talk about that sometimes too. It's like trust in the levels that you see, and just don't get mixed up sometimes in all of the noise. And we definitely had done that there by looking over, trying to find that Google. Cambodia, okay, I'm not too worried. What's up, Mopar for life there?
Cambodia.
From 35 to 5%. I don't know. I'll figure out some stories about Cambodia right there. What is Cambodia known for? All right, so there it goes. Nicely done to the upside here on Google. Was it a joke? I missed what you said.
Oh, there's a Diddy joke in there from the.
Oh, I don't want to. Okay, yeah.
No, it was the Chappelle gag when he made fun of Diddy. And was the Cambodian breast milk kit.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I don't know if that's what you were talking about there.
No, the guy said in the chat there something about Cambodian tariffs. So I had no idea. So it is a thing according to it. It is a thing according to
just very, very quickly, someone had asked about the halt levels. The chart's moving too fast. The NASDAQ and the ES are only halfway there to any potential circuit breaker.
Yeah, it's 7%.
Yeah, it's 7%. So we're not, like we're 3.5%. We're not anywhere close to those. Trust me, if we get within a
trust me, bro,
spitting distance, we'll be all over if we get anywhere close to those bands. I'm still staring down Apple, trying to hold you up. It's not looking that great, but it's looking like it's starting to set up. Let's go to the small cap recap with Adara, which is early.
Before we get to the small cap recap, I do want to talk about those Cambodian tariffs. I didn't mention it earlier because it wasn't particularly market moving, but it is worth noting. Bloomberg reporting that apparently Cambodia is going to be lowering some tariffs on some U.S. imports to $5 from 5% from 35%. So they're going to cut these quite significantly. Again, Bloomberg reporting that Cambodia reportedly looking to lower tariffs on some U.S. imports from 35% to 5%. So that is the Cambodia-related thing you may have seen. I just wanted to provide some clarity on that. But let's talk here about the IWM and these small caps. Here's the IWM, still making a bit of a rounded top. As of yesterday, we were in bear territory, and we gapped down even lower today. Low here of $179 for that Russell 2000. ALDX, one of today's small cap gappers on watch. Yesterday, massive push to the downside. The FDA rejected their dry eye treatment for the second time. Then we also have, but they're bouncing back today. Then there's RSLS. RSLS, pretty notable here. No catalyst for Reshape Life Sciences, but it is worth noting they have about a 620,000 share float. 56% of that is sold short. Last but not least, AREB, American Rebel. This one rallies pretty repeatedly. Catalyst from yesterday as well. Apparently, they're highlighting a new video release as of yesterday morning. So AREB possibly on watch for day two. Back to you.
We got a good one there. Spending a little bit of money now for the long. At least the long is working on a name that we had thought about. We're gonna have to let this go even higher though, because if this is gonna work for us, let's let it work. And we actually did that. So we just got a good fill right there at 09s. Again, like I was really thinking, I mean, is it 09? Yeah, 09s. I was really hoping for the 50 period there, but we are at VWAP rate now. So, you know, being able to, okay, maybe, okay, I'm gonna take an 09 again if we can, okay, well now, oh, we didn't even get it. Okay, there we go, we got it again. Let's see if it can go back up to the upside. That is 30s. So I'm gonna put an offer right now for a decent amount here, 20% at 30. Bang, we're back, baby. This market is now back for us as we picked up Google near that bottom. Look, it is gonna be hopefully an update for us on Google. We did get stopped out of that early rates there. It's kind of hard to see when it's right in the middle of the candle. We've put like our sells as red and our buys as green, but sometimes I realize it's a little hard to see, but I guess not really. There it goes, nicely done to the upside. Now $1, 84 cents in the money now on Google. So this is really bringing my day back. So pretty happy with that. We were getting smoked on this trade earlier. So, you know, happy, joy in this market when it's in your favor, but then when it smacks you in the face, it ain't fun. So let's just understand what that feeling feels like. And again, remember, you cannot, and I think Joe said this, I think we all say this, you cannot, I mean, Obi said it yesterday, until you fail, you know, you're not going to be able to figure out what winning's all about. And
your way to success.
Exactly. And so I just want to say, like, that's how you hold more shares. That's how you hold things against you a little bit, because you have to become comfortable sometimes in uncomfortable situations, right? And I mean, we were pretty uncomfortable holding that. We did have our stops, and we got stopped out. This is not saying be uncomfortable to the point where you're not being reasonable or you're trading outside of your sort of risk parameters. It's just about, if there's an opportunity there that you believe in, there is reasons to take it. You know, sometimes you'll fall on your face on stock, that's for sure, and you'll make a bad call. And we had one of those this morning with Tesla, you know, and we're able to get out. But we lost enough money on this where it was damage, you know, but we're able to get out and move on to something else. Look at Tesla, it's continuing to bleed. Meanwhile, we've made back our day here, not completely our day, but made back a little bit here on Google. So that's been helping, trying to stick with what we thought. So there it is, man. We talked about the 50 period. Look at all the outs right now. So we still have about half of this position on. So we're going to really let to see if the market wants to bounce off 18,000. I don't know, Neil, when they asked about where the limits were, that makes me a little nervous.
Well, no, we're not close to the limits,
but I don't like that thought.
It's the sentiment that's in the market. So a couple of bounces off VWAP. One that was okay, I'll show IBIT, which is bouncing off VWAP, only because it's imminently at the level of support. And then Apple was trying, we were staring down Apple for the break of trend and off of VWAP. And there was a question in the chat, how do I place stops relative to like a key price level? Well, there's two things. If I'm taking a trend break like this, like it trends down in VWAP, it breaks the trend, I'm taking the break above the trend line, and I'm giving it to either that bar or the prior bar low. So it's an execution strategy based on the trend reverse. If you're trading off a level, sometimes you just got to pick a level and throw your stop underneath it. Like if you like 47, like in this case, I might put it a little bit underneath the 47 level here. I always have an execution plan. I always say this, if you don't know where you're wrong, then you don't necessarily have a trade. You've got to determine, okay, well, what does it mean to be wrong in this trade? It could be a trend line break. It could be fundamental. I don't know. It could be fundamental if you're swinging or something. I don't really do that, but it just has to be something, and you predetermine so that I'm sitting there knowing, hey, I'm going to take my shot on this break of the bottoming tail candle. But my stop is going to go in there, and my hands are off the keyboard, and I know where I want to get. And that goes in actually before I even take the long position. Like as I'm staring this down, it's made that prior bar. Like I've seen the bottoming tail candles. I'm staring down. I can see it holding VWAP on this candle. My stop goes in first, and then I start taking the long position. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But right now the market is breaking lower, so you just saw the fail in Apple. That was flat on IBIT because we got some profit out. Nike, which is a New York stock, that's holding on to volume-weighted average price here. But like most of the trades for me right now, it's a matter of trend one way, break the trend, take it the other way. And that's what I'm seeing in this market, so that's what I want to be looking at. Like what's giving me a trend break? And what actually, I said it before, Amazon gets closer, and that's just a topping tail candle into a prior bar high. Yeah, this is, you now, ideally for this setup, this is not really a great trend line unless it holds the trend, retest the top, then confirm the trend line, then break it. At this point, I don't know that that really sets up as a trend break, but you've just gotten the prior day support for a resistance spot here on Amazon. I haven't taken this one at all to the south side, but I can tell you if it goes green today, it's surprising to me. It's just, the closer you get to going green.
Amazon, that is?
No, I mean anything.
Oh, the market, yeah.
No, but anything. I don't care what stock it is. Like if you're getting a chance to go green, I think that's a fade on almost everything that we would regularly trade on daily trade. But it's just a matter of finding that setup. So I don't want anything that isn't like a mean reversion or a bottoming tail candle where I can have a clear and defined entry and exit, because everything else just kind of hasn't worked out. So I want to stick to that kind of a plan. Amazon's there for us. Going to hang on to Nike through VWAP if we can. Ben Weiss, thank you for the super chat there. Ben, appreciate you. Check out the daily gap on NVIDIA, March 23rd, 2023. I didn't even notice that Randy came by. I needed that fresh coffee. Mine's getting cold. What are your thoughts on gaps that have been being filled eventually? Okay, so I have to go to a higher time frame chart on NVIDIA, obviously, if you're talking about a 2023 gap. Let's go to eSignal. and maybe
2023 gap.
Well, that's sort of the thing. Like, I got to look at a weekly on NVIDIA here. I'm only in the one trade, and Amazon we're going to be really patient with. It's been ridiculously strong. So you're talking, no, I must have read that wrong. You're talking about the March gap? Oh my goodness.
Or do we have to
go? In my head, I thought you were talking about this gap. But I have it wrong, the 2024 gap. You're talking about 2023 in March. So all the way back in here, look, I don't think it's reasonable to expect that we could get that low on NVIDIA. The world's not ending. Here's the way I would look at it. You would actually have to have a global recession, and then some other kind of panic would have to happen there, I think, to get to that type of a level. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. I was about to say it's not insane that if you have a global recession that you could see like a pullback in the 200 on like this gap in here from 2024. That's the one I thought you were talking about. That's crazy and that's extreme, but I can believe that. I could believe it. I would put a lower probability on it, but I could certainly believe it. The $1 to $30, sorry, I'm not that panicked.
Not seeing that.
Well, that's $30.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we have other problems. Like, keep your family safe if we get to 30 on NVIDIA in any kind of a timely fashion. Like, I'm not worried about my stocks if that happens. I'm worried about other things, and I use your imagination.
Yeah, I mean, anything could happen down there, especially these
30.
days. Yeah, hopefully we don't get to that level. All right, but again, time is on everybody's side, right? I mean, that's the whole thing, and not everybody's, but I guess most people's side. As we continue to watch out for this market, look, I feel like we did pretty good here, getting in and out of some of these trades, but doesn't mean that we did. All right, so Google, Palantir, right there. I was just trying to show you guys there was a big level there at 75. 75 is a little low for Palantir right now. Google, again, up to VWAP. We're still going to wait for 148. I don't think we'll be reloading this one as the NASDAQ is just coming right in like fire again, right down there to the downside. We got to make sure that we do have the right stop orders out. So, yeah, look, we made some money back there. It's definitely not as bad as it was for us getting a lot out at the 50 period. No matter how this market moves, you have to respect it. And that's what we've been doing, is trying to respect some of these moves. As Neil said, if anything gets back to the high of the day, that would be a good spot for us to think about, or green on some of these stocks would be a good spot to think about getting out finally. So, if it comes through, we'll do that. We'll buy some more on the dip here, but then that's it, man. If we break this 48, we are gone on Google, and so far, so not so good for the long. We've been okay on it, just, we could always do a little bit better. So we'll wait to see if we can do better on this Google long and average it in as it comes back up. But there has to be some shorts in this market, right, that some of you guys are looking at. So put it in the chat here. Like, what are we doing? Tesla has actually gotten clocked as this was a name that, hands up in the air. If we're wrong on this one, that was I. I thought Tesla was strong early. Like, there it was going, and I was like, let's play it off the 200. Let's play it off VWAP, and good thing we didn't because we got played on that one, as that just makes a move all the way down. So, again, congratulations to anybody that was able to catch that short against me. So that was a great trade.
Speaking of things that are actually not that bad.
Right.
IBIT's still holding on to VWAP, and we're above 82,000.
Yeah, crypto's
I'm curious to see what else is going on in crypto land with Adara. Hopefully, Fartcoin's not going down too far. That'd be a real problem.
Yeah, bad.
I just quit if Fartcoin goes down.
I can safely say we're not going to be looking at Fartcoin right now, but here is Bitcoin. Nice little, I guess, rounded top here within a rounded top for BTC. Still finding, as I mentioned earlier, some support here from that Tuesday, March 11th low. But certainly, I would say, honestly, arguably making a double top here at that just under 89,000 level. First on Monday, March 24th. Then again here, we get this top on Wednesday, April 2nd. We thought the market was maybe going to push higher. Unfortunately, crypto and the rest of the market pushed a little lower here. Though BTC, it is worth noting, we've said time and time again, has held up relatively well compared to what we're seeing with the NASDAQ especially and the market as a whole. Let's take a look at Ethereum here as well on the daily chart. Ethereum to USD, bit of a downtrend, not holding up necessarily as well as BTC, but within the last few days, making pretty similar patterns. Yesterday, actually slightly green for Ethereum. And without that, we're going to be back here to you. taking our friends at Trade the Pool, sorry for the wait there. We all know the saying, big opportunities come with big risk, but what if that wasn't true anymore? Trade the Pool is redefining what risk means for traders. No more risking your life savings to prove yourself in the market. They give you access to company capital, up to $200,000 to trade real stocks, no CFDs, and your downside is limited to just a single one-time fee that starts at $47. So that means no more blowing up your personal account. You get to trade with serious buying power, all while knowing your loss is capped. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited time during the evaluation, so you get the freedom to trade your way with no time pressure. Visit tradethepool.com and see how far your $47 can take you. Back to you.
Adara, just very quickly, 175 broke at the moment, or rebroke on Amazon at the moment that it broke that trend line. So at this point, it's the only type of entry that I'm finding is find something that's trending up if you're looking short and have it break the trend, or if you're looking long, have something break a downtrend, that kind of thing, and pull back into VWAP. 175, I just bid 174 when it bounced the first time, but let's let it fall into VWAP there. And Daniel was asking me, and these are all great questions. Where was it? Hey, there it is. I saw it the first time, and he repeats it. Literally, I was talking about it. ARM is at your buy price, sweet 88. Are you buying here? I can tell you with XLF and with ARM, the second there were China retaliatory tariffs, I canceled my bids. Flat out. It doesn't mean I'm not going to buy ARM. I am going to buy it again, but I'm not going to buy it literally the day after on a fill when we just had retaliatory tariffs announced by China. To me, it's just, why would I do that? If I'm holding it forever, I don't have to buy it at the absolute most panicky moment of all time. So yeah, I still like it, but what I observe is this. When we get that news, and a little slow on that chart, when we get negative news and you're blowing through the 200 on the weekly, I can let it settle down. And it might just mean that I get it at a much better price. My intention is to buy it. For anyone that is tuning in, I've been saying this for like a year and a half. I've been waiting for ARM to pull back in to more reasonable prices because the PE is ridiculous, and I want to sort of build into a long-term position on it because I bungled it on the IPO and didn't really get in on the IPO, which was a big mistake. So it's one I want to own, but I'm not just going to sit here catching a falling knife. I'm resetting to, I mean, it's crazy to say because it's a silly price, down around 67. Or if we just simply bounce a couple of days and show a consolidation after we settle down here next week, then maybe I buy the same level and it looks good, and I might have to pay a couple of dollars up. That's fine. I don't mind that. So Amazon, going to hang on to this to VWAP. Nike, we're still in. It's trying to break. We've already scalped the VWAP on Nike. If it breaks that, I'm looking for 52.5 here on Nike. So again, trend breaks are pretty much all that I'm looking for at this point. Don't want to punch bottoms. And it could be trend breaks to the upside too. Like, I don't want to think that we're only going to go short. Like, I tried a trend break on, and one trend break long on IBIT, then a breakout long on IBIT, then a trend break long on IBIT. If we get back down to the same double bottom here and do another trend break long, I'll take that as well. So it's just about knowing what your setup is going to be. Or you know what, Sean? Apparently, the other thing you could do is just maybe pay attention to GME, which is still up 2%. I just saw in the chat, they're like, GME.
You're not hella long GME, man? What the hell's your problem?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Not, nor would I be.
No, I don't. We're just joking about that one. Okay, so unfortunately, Google does run that 148. We're still in it. We didn't get stopped out of everything, but we did get stopped out of a bunch. So we'll be red right now on Google, position pending. We're going to give it that one more shot to see if it wants to hold that level or what, because there are going to be some wipeout levels. But as you can clearly see oh, sorry, that's Tesla still, my bad. As you can see right here, we are on Google right now, and okay, well, here it comes. I was just going to say, but we are taking it out as it rips higher for us. We are just getting some out in the 30s there, and then it drops right back through 148 again, it looks like right now. So this will be the last. Yeah, this will be the last stop out right there for Google as it just runs again. So, yeah, good thing we were able to make something back on that move.
I got to get Jameson's question here.
I still go ahead with Jameson.
Jameson just asked, how do tariffs affect Palantir? I'm going to make the assumption. I haven't looked at Palantir. I'm going to assume it's down like everything else. Things don't have to be directly affected by tariffs to suffer the fallout. If you have a really large PE or really super high PE in this environment where everything's resetting down and people are expecting recession, that contracts. So those types of things get sold, and they're just getting bad consequences. That's why ARM's going down, but they're a chip name as well. You're going to find anything with a high PE is going to be under pressure in this environment. Also, Tesla is about to go 10% to the downside because why not? This market is bleeding. I mean, it's not fun. No questions asked. Don't look at your long-term account unless you plan to make any decisions imminently. Let's go to Adara or oh, we're not going to Adara. My bad.
Yeah, you can come right over here because we want you to scan that QR code as you see on your screen because eSignal, again, you know, we've talked about this for a while, and it was just the fact that you can look at other markets. And I think that, you know, using, and we see trade ideas and all that kind of stuff, but these guys you can entitle based on the market that you want to trade. So go hit them up. If there is any sort of a concern, they have great technical support as well. We want to say a big shout out to eSignal. First month free. Go check them out. It's the back testing. It's the reliability of the charts. Again, level 2s are available. They're hot lists, trends, watch lists. You can set up your own alerts, API integration. It's all there. This has been exhausting trying to pick up some of these bottoms here today again. We just should have said, and shout out to everybody there on the chat. You know, we started the day short. Like, we started the day short. We were short at 8:30, man, and then short again. And then eventually we got taken to the cleaners on the long. So, yeah, right now, man, it's not been a long day, but the TQs continue to be pretty sharp in the tooth here and just making moves down lower and lower and lower, man. This is $43. We were trading this thing not too long ago at like $80 or $90 right there on the TQs. Look at that. So this is what we talk about, how you don't necessarily want to hold these things for 3 times the anything, because it can go 3 times the other way, and then it becomes very, very dramatic. And of course, it can even move more than that because you do have the decay with the options, right? And so just be as careful as you can be there with this. And I think it's just a great day trading tool. So if those of you are trying to catch it over the next week or so, swing trading and day trading, then I think the TQs could work for you as opposed to just trading the straight NASDAQ and using some of that leverage. But at the end of the day, this has been really hit and a really great thing to trade. And thankfully for myself, I was able to trade that and make a little bit of money early on it. But I don't know, capitulation, Paul? I mean,
well, we're going to find out.
Did people get wiped out? Yeah.
We're at the low right now.
Exactly. So good call on that one. And I was just going to say, like, whether or not we capitulate from here or not, like, we've seen so many days now that are down 3, 4, 5% almost in a row that I don't know if the market is scared of this anymore. Like, we may have to go down. We may have to halt down, which is 7% to wipe everybody out. And then even then on the great reset, yeah, I don't... I don't know.
I don't mean they.
Yeah, so wow, we just should have stayed in this. We didn't even need to get it stopped out. So we were pretty light. We just should have reloaded the short. We just believed that the market taking VWAP there was a chance to go. Once it didn't, I think the real short there was that last fail of VWAP. Like, I thought it was going to go. You know, you guys talking capitulation, all that, like, yeah, we did think that there was an opportunity for that to happen. And it looks like, yeah, no opportunity in sight right now as it's just downside. And yeah, we may get that blowout bottom at some point here again. So to try to go short now seems risky, but it's been right. Any short throughout the whole time today has been right. It's 1040, man.
Before we go to Adara for Sector Watch, as you were talking about eSignal, I just want to show you guys the trade rate list that I have on eSignal, because it is littered with ETFs. You know, like, you're going to see Apple up there, you see AMD, Amazon, IWM, KWeb, SOXL, SOXS, SPY is in there, Qs, SQQ, TQQ, TSLA. Like, half of it is ETFs today. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Why is, you know what, there must not be any of the volatility ones that are on the list that it's drawing from. I'd be a little surprised that VIX or UVXY isn't on there, but it's probably because it's only taking NASDAQ. It's weird. It should be there. But you're seeing so many indexes here. The volatility is through the roof. You really got to be able to pick your spots, everybody. The market's at low of the day. Yeah. So VWAP's about to come in on Amazon, that reversion. But I got to worry about why in the world is Nike coming back to entry Well, it doesn't matter. I had my break-even stop in there. It bounced off VWAP. We held for the dream. Nike is actually just right back to break-even on that last 20%. So Nike showing strength as we go to Adara for sector watch. Why are they buying Nike?
Oh.
The sector board is even worse here than what we saw yesterday. Hey, we've got technology, of course, still red. Both technology services and electronic tech finance bright red here. Berkshire Hathaway down about 4%. JP Morgan 7%. Retail trade here still pretty weak. Even the names that held up decently yesterday are falling to the downside. And Amazon very red here to lead the group. Eli Lilly, AbbVie all red here in health technologies. Consumer services bright red. Even McDonald's, which was relatively strong yesterday. Producer manufacturing, consumer durables, Tesla leading the downside, though there are some names that are green here. Health services, though, one of the rare sectors that's really holding up quite nicely for the most part. UNH up more than 1%. They closed pretty strong yesterday as well. Some of these distribution names are strong. And here, consumer non-durables, Philip Morris actually had held up decently yesterday. They're red, as is Coca-Cola. But Pepsi holding up decently here. Same with Mondelez. So there are some areas of strength to be found in most of these sectors, even though very much the board is actually somehow weaker than yesterday, guys. Back to you.
Somehow weaker, yeah. To your point about getting I woke up to texts today, and I was like, why is my phone doing this? And then someone was like, oh, well, looks like another crazy day in the market. I'm like, I didn't even look yet. And we had heard about that. So yeah, Dara, I think you're right, man. Somehow we are even more nasty than we were yesterday.
Like I need a hair. Like I'm probably going to see. But actually, I need to see my barber. I know exactly what he's going to ask me about. And as I said, it's like cousins, uncles, everybody's reaching out, and they're like, "What's going on here?" And you know, one of the things you can do, which makes a heck of a lot of sense, is go back and look at some monthly charts. Look at that drop that we had in the post-COVID drop. In the COVID drop, but the post-COVID drop was bigger in 2021. Go back and look at 2008. I know people don't want to do that kind of a thing. Go back and look at the dot-com bubble burst and understand those types of time frames if that's what ends up happening, and understand what your risk parameters in your long term, how closely to retirement, like that kind of a thing. Like just do your own work to know your own time horizons. As far as the trade goes, look, the NASDAQ, we're at 4-3 to the downside, and you're pretty much cresting the lows right here. Oh, the other thing, while we're here, one of the reasons why I think got to look cover, the SPY is at the higher low support from the August bottom. Right. So you had the wick bottom on the SPY, but you had the support that formed right after, which is right at that 516. You are literally blowing through it as we speak. So you're losing... Goodness, why am I shouldn't be on the bid of anything. You should be holding shorts. Like you're literally losing the bid that we held support from that yen carry trade bottom break. And like literally as that happened, I've said literally way too much now, you got a big spike to the downside. So Amazon's the only thing holding bids right now. So I feel like if we see it bounce off VWAP, I am flat out punching out of this. Like why are we, NASDAQ's holding the low. The ES obviously didn't. Yeah, follow your rule, Neil. Yeah, if it shows a bounce, when we're at that major support level, my rule is on a mean reversion trade that you take it out. So we did it on Apple, and it was the right thing to do. I know the market's trending down. There's Apple. Like the first short was good, and then I go long. Like if I just stick with the short on Apple,
isn't it crazy?
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what my mother didn't used to say that. My aunt used to always say that one, but it's not her quote. But the Apple right down at those lows of the day. We'll see if it ends up being the right decision to have gotten out of Amazon there. But NASDAQ's at that bottom. ES is at that low. If it bounces, I see Amazon right back up at the top because it's one of the strongest names out there. Tesla, yikes. Remember 220?
Yeah.
So there's almost no chance. There's almost no chance we get to 220 today because that would be another 10% down from here. But on Monday, Tesla will be SSR. And if it sees 220 when it's SSR on Monday, you're going to have to take a look at it. But this is wild. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Why didn't I stay short in Apple? Yeah. I covered Amazon, and it's still holding on to VWAP. But there's, like, there's almost no way it's going to hold up here. Bitcoin's at that low. It doesn't seem like it wants to hold out. It is an absolute dumpster fire.
Down 5%. We could break.
So typically speaking, I'm not saying we're going to get to 7%. But if you get to the halt bottom, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but the money trade is to find a long position off of that. The hard part is finding a safe one if you get to that halt band. Because it's not as simple as the futures. Like, you want to find something that you don't mind being in as if the market goes into a halt and then comes out of it to the downside, which is a tricky part. And I'm not saying I have an answer to that, but over lunchtime, I'll at least be thinking about where's the safe place to do that. So Amazon, at least for now, is holding on. I can tell you guys, and we should be looking at this a little bit more often, I promised I would, this is what the VIX is doing. And the VIX is still $3 away from the overnight high. So when you're looking at the futures at support levels, well, volatility is nowhere near where it turned last time. I think this is another bit of an indicator. If you're looking to maybe pick some bottoms, maybe allow it to get up here, do a little bit of a curl and a crest, and if we have like some kind of a mean reversion on VIX, then you can like your longs a little bit better. That's the kind of thing I'm going to be looking for at this point, which requires a lot of patience because you're really far away from that top. I can fix the scaling. I don't know why I don't fix the scaling for you guys. Whoops. And I just zoomed the entire thing.
Whoops.
Yeah, I just did that where I put there you go. See a little bit better. So we're like 45.5, and we're only at 43.3 on the VIX. So if we get up there, then I can start looking for maybe reversion longs, and you get a little bit more confirmation that you're looking good. So patience, everybody. Probably going to kick myself for getting out of Amazon, but if I type in Amazon on that and not on my P Pro 8. But, you know, you can only try to take the next trade.
Right.
You know, that's the only thing you can do. Like, as I look at it, Amazon, whoops, why is that blue ocean? Amazon's bouncing off VWAP. So for now, it looks like it's holding. I don't want the long here. It just, you know, ideally, I want to try to re-enter a short position in Amazon. I just don't want the long, but rule was take it out for profit. D. Dwyer, 7% is where the circuit breaker halts are, not 5%.
Nope.
If we were at 5, if the NASDAQ circuit breaker was 5%, volume would be going through the roof right now. It's big volumes at these bottoms, but if we were right on the precipice, volumes would be out of control, and they're not. So if we get to 7%, trust me, you're going to know when we cross 6. If we cross 6, I should say. Nothing's certain.
Wow. I was looking like this Palantir is pretty low, man. When we switched over to the NASDAQ, we came over at 60. It's like at 73 right now as, what goes up definitely is coming back down here today. Like, this is just like all these levels that we wrote down as like key levels seem to have been like the breaking spots there. We haven't even thought about going back to the upside here on Palantir yet. You're now down 5%, man. Yeah, I think this Amazon short, if it breaks, could be something there as well. We are getting lit up now down to the downside. I think you're right there, Hamster. Algos do not care about anything today as the market just keeps on bleeding. There's Palantir 7250. So everything's turned on right now, and it's risk down right now, risk off. And everything goes down when it's risk off. So even Apple to the downside now. All right, it's 1050. Let's go find out what's going on with the dollar, at least with Adara.
Just a reminder, too, Jerome Powell will be taking the podium at 11:25 a.m. Eastern. So in just over half an hour from now, we will get comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. I think probably a very apt way to begin our Money Talk segment, which, of course, is about the U.S. dollar and the economy. Big gap down here yesterday for the DXY. Today, though, actually trying to battle back. Worth noting, we're not even close to making up for yesterday's drops. But as of right now, around that 102.63 level. Yesterday we closed in and around just below 102. So decent battle back for the DXY today. Now let's take a look at that CME Fed Watch tool because it's always interesting to know what's happening with rates. So right now, 59% of participants still expecting we're not going to get a cut in May, but 41% expecting a 25 basis point cut. This went up considerably from yesterday, almost doubling from yesterday. Yesterday, about 22% of participants expecting that cut. So nice increase here in the amount of participants getting maybe a little bit more dovish for the May meeting. June meeting right now, 43% of participants are expecting here a 50 basis point cut and another 52% expecting a 25 basis point cut. So basically by June, we are absolutely pricing in at least one rate cut. There are at least one 25 basis point rate cut. Let's get in here to take a moment to thank our friends at ProfitX. Looking for unbeatable odds in the biggest games? Switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform, where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. It's like crafting your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track the action, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. ProfitX, sports playing reimagined. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Back to you.
I mean, Amazon just flushed down into 170. We took advantage and bought the futures, so we're now 50 handles in the money. Like, why I just don't trade the futures, I'll never know. But there it goes right there. Huge move now back to the upside there on that flush, and then just a retracement back. So we'll start to take some more out, man. Now 60 handles in as it's now bouncing off the lows. I don't really know why, but we just had a huge move back up. So it just is, right? So there it goes, man. Good move back up to the upside now for the futures. Let's see how far we can go now. Take something out, I guess, at 20s, might as well. There it goes. See ya, futures. Bye-bye. You know, that was a good one. So we tried to catch the bottom. It looks like we did do that. So nice trade right there. Palantir, whoopsies, that's NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA bounces off 92, wow. And then we were just looking at Palantir down there at 72, now $1.50 upside. So looks like the market is finally starting to go here. Does Tesla find a bottom at 236? That's up $4 or $5. Everything right now, Rip City in the market. So good job if you're able to find those bottoms. We did it on the futures, but we've gotten hit on everything else there today. So futures for the win, everything else for the loss for me. We're slightly up on NVIDIA and Palantir, but down on Google, down on Tesla.
So the market just caught I'll show you the wicks in a quick little second. We took the reversion back into IBIT, but I'm respecting VWAP on the way back up on anything. This is the only long that I got, but I'll respect VWAP and try to get out in front. Like I said, mean reversion trades aplenty. Let me just quickly show you guys the SPY. Got that fill. So this is the wick on the SPY at 510. So this is what's happening. And then, I mean, shot was on the NASDAQ, SPY, NASDAQ, same thing. But that was a big bottoming tail. I went over to Tesla first because I didn't have that level 2 up to see if that trend break was available. But by the time I even looked at it, it was already blowing through $2 higher. So that's how quickly and rapidly the market is moving. As I said, like, look for whatever, as far as I'm concerned, like, Bitcoin never broke support. It still hasn't broken the 81,000 support. So I just like this one long because I feel as if you've got a little bit of protection underneath you. There's going to be liquidity down there. It's selling, but it's not panic selling. So I've been kind of focusing on that one to the long side. So I want to try to take the reversions long, breakouts long, dip buys long on this. But if you just made that bottoming tail wick, there's probably a lot of other things that look really, really good. As Sean said, NVIDIA, I think you did.
Yeah. I mean, everything bounced.
And what's crazy about NVIDIA just bounced $1.50 to only now try to break the downtrend from the morning. Think about that. It just bounced $1.50 and hasn't even broken the downtrend yet. That's insane. Insane. I don't even know how you form an entry off of that. Intel 20 even maybe. Yeah, Intel, as a straight up guess that Intel maybe was bouncing off 20. I didn't know it was bouncing off 20 exactly, but this is also trying to break trend. Yeah, I like this. I'm going to like Intel here if we close above this trend line. Played into VWAP because VWAP is a prior level where we tried the long, so support into resistance and all that good stuff. So we close this. It's almost 11 o'clock. If this bar, we close it above the trend line, I'm punching long Intel, or we just punch long this little break here above the 50 and play it into VWAP at the $0.50, which is great because Intel, to me, every quarter and $0.50 you take profit.
Yeah, we agreed on that. We have a good trade here, obviously, on the futures as we took 100 handles. But again, like, there was news there that, Charles Gasparino posts on X there that he's heard that Scott Bessonette is trying to moderate quietly the president's hard line on trade. So
try harder.
There we go. Yeah, so maybe a little bit of talk there. coming through. That was minutes ago. So, yeah, that looks like that has maybe sparked a little bit of a rally here in the futures. So, yeah, there it is, man. Trump's buying the dips. Yeah, probably. I mean, I think everyone's trying to buy these dips. Just a matter of how dippy are we going to get. But the thing about it is no matter what, there has to be something for lunch. We can have a quick look at that. So what's going on for Friday? Some people have been requesting this in the chat. Should be a good day, I would think, here today. They've had some success doing this before. Island curry chicken. It does not say jerk chicken, but island curry chicken with dirty rice, steamed vegetables, and again, here's that word, island coleslaw.
Dirty rice, baby.
Yeah, so dirty market, dirty rice coming today. Should be a good one.
Cook up rice.
Yeah, there we go. Cook it up.
Cook up rice. Joe knows.
There it is right there. Yeah, Joe knows everything. 42.47 right there. Nice move back there to the upside as we're starting to go, man. There's the 100 handles. There's the futures back up to the upside. So yeah, in what should be a good lunch, should also be hopefully a good afternoon of trade. We'll get ready for Obi and Joe there today again for you. But yeah, the market really wants to go. It seems like anyways. Nice move. Okay, finally. We have a trade on here to worth talking about. 125 handles back in the money. So there it goes. We'll let this thing ride to the upside a little bit here. If it still wants to go, we're at 43.89. There it goes. Upside right now, 43.75. Starting to go higher here. Good move. We just told you the story. Let's see what winds up happening now as this market continues to ride a little higher.
Absolutely. With 2 minutes to go here, I did take the trend break on Intel. So it closed above, you guys know the drill, it closed above the trend line. Prior bar is going to be my out. IBIT, VWAP. It's trying to go.
Oh, man.
You pull back, now you're trying to break through. So if it breaks, if I don't get a place to add to this, you got to hold it for the high of the day. So we're into Intel. Tesla, huge bounce on Tesla just now. That just got up to 245. And I think this one's headed into volume-weighted average price. You already mentioned, no, you didn't mention Amazon, did you?
Amazon went to 170 on a flush.
And now it's holding VWAP. Amazon's strong. Amazon's just strong. Just incredibly different. So first things first, I am not reshorting Amazon at this top.
Wow.
If you get to that top, I want no part of it. I think you just made a decisive turn in this market, and I want long entries at this point. So we got two, and I'm looking for a third. I wanted one of the Mag 7 to the long side. Only 1 minute to go. Apple. That's really too far up. Maybe I have to look for some kind of a pullback. I want to find one more thing that we can try to grab a long in as well. Oh, yeah, the VIX, everybody. That was the other thing. So gets up right to that top, and there's your reversal. We got right to the overnight high, maybe missed it by a few cents, and then there's your pullback. So what do you think we're looking for next? Where is it going to bounce? If we start bouncing at higher lows on the VIX, take profit on your shorts, or sorry, your longs. There, to the extent that you have any longs. So watching the VIX today, got to be an important one to pay attention to. We don't always, but I remember it was basically during 2020 and now that we keep an eye on the VIX. Like I have it up on one of my charts at all times, which wasn't the case before, but a different market right now, just a different market.
For sure. With, yeah, I mean, we don't. There's very rarely do you see back-to-back days -4, -4, -4, -5, up 1, down 4, down 3. And it looks like right now we're bouncing again to that 50-period moving average. So a bunch of outs, man, up there at the top. I don't know. Like, I want to cover. So we're covering more here on the TQs. Thinking about fading any of these pops for sure, right? I mean, pound here got all the way back up to $75 there off that 72.
That's a bad
and again, nice little turnaround there on some of those moves. So yeah, I mean, thanks for joining us here today. I want to make sure that you hit the like, hit the subscribe. You're going to get over to a new stream. So we'll go find out what's going on with the Island Chicken there today. But so far, so good here. You know, thanks for watching. Too bad we let go of that short early, but we grabbed some back now on the TQs. It's been a good day, man. Wow. IBIT, good one. 82.5 right now for Bitcoin. Trying to hold out as well. All right. Whew. Yeah, exhausting day. We'll be back, though, at 2 p.m., but for now, it's the midday show. It's Joe and Obi. So one last day this week for Obi, then Sharif returns on Friday. Thanks, Obi, for everything. Let's go back on Monday. Today's Friday. Let's go back over to the boys now on the midday. Thanks.
Yo, what's going on?